It's MicheleMarieDalene, and of course, I'm sorry I'm a little late. I got up a little later, I ate a little food, and then of course, here I am. This morning we covered an issue of self-defense. Stan CT was nice enough to present some information to me about the Connecticut General Statutes training requirements for gun ownership. And I know that YouTube can get very, very sensitive on firearms, and so I'm not going to go into a lot of details because it depends on the state you're in. And some states, for example, there's actually really no stringent requirements. Okay? Other states, however, are more particular about what the requirements are. So each state's different. So if you want to get a firearm, you need to talk to your state. Make sure that your state guidelines are followed. All right, just keep it at that. But now here's the question that he talks about: the proficiency is that in the state of Connecticut, you need to get 8 hours of training. Now, I know what you're going to say. That doesn't sound like a hell of a lot. And it isn't, except one thing. It doesn't say, at least I didn't see it here, as I looked real quick at the article, about how much training you need to have and what level of accuracy do you have to have. Okay, so if you know the answer to that, would be great. After we do so. So, okay, so that's what I want to cover. So, let me see if I can pull the article up that Stan pulled up on the Connecticut General Statutes. Because the one question I wanted to know is, in the case of the registered blind, as far as gun ownership goes, do you need to show a certain level of proficiency? Okay, this is from his computer. Let me just pull this up here. Okay, open original file. Okay, here we go. So, let me pull this up on the screen. See, I wanted to finish what we were talking about this morning because I thought it was a very interesting case, and I wanted to cover this. So, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to read through the general statutes. Okay? That's because it's a valid concern. I mean, you're talking about a weapon that could theoretically cause a lot of harm, and so I wanted to just cover that. So let's see here. Where is it? Cleveland Mac, Discord. Where is this stupid thing? Gaming software control, Chrome, Finder, Doc, Discord. Okay, there we go. So this is the biggest I could find. Okay, so let's see. I'll read it to you first. So it might be easier for me to read it to you. You may not be able to see it that well. Okay, is that actually? Oh, it's off his computer. Okay, so let me read it to you. It says here, approve the temporary permit may be several months before the local issuing authority makes a decision on pistol permits applications. That the temporary permit is granted, the applicant must apply for the SLFU for regular pistol permit valid for 5 years, which will generally grant the permit unless there is a reason specified by law and the individual should be denied. These include, okay, someone's on my piano. Yeah, someone's at the piano like always. That's probably Leo. Yeah, okay, so let's get Leo on the screen here. Hold on a minute. Get Leo on the screen. Yep, do this. Okay, here we go, Leo. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle.
All right, so now where was I? Oh, okay, so I was reading something before we came in. All right, it says here, criminal possession of a narcotic substance, criminally negligent homicide, assault in the 3rd degree, reckless endangerment in the 1st degree, unlawful restraint in the 2nd degree, riot in the 1st degree. What the hell that means? January 6th. Okay, stalking in the 2nd degree, conviction as delinquent for the commission of serious juvenile offenses. Discharged from custody within the preceding 20 years after having been found not guilty of a crime by reasons of mental disease or defect. Restraining or protective order issued by court in cases involving the use, attempted use, or threatened use of physical force against another person. Firearm seizure order issued for posing a risk of personal injury to self or others after hearing, or the individual is explicitly prohibited from possessing a firearm for having been educated as a mentally incompetent under federal law. Okay, now I don't have any of that, but here's what Stan did tell me, which doesn't say on this page, is that you have, as I said, you have to get a temporary permit. The temporary permit basically says that you also have to demonstrate, you have to go for classes for 8 hours of training. I don't know what the marksmanship requirement is, because obviously a typical registered blind person is not going to be able to hit a tiny paper target from about 100 feet. It's not going to happen. You're lucky if you even see the white piece of paper. Never mind actually try to hit the little paper bullseye in the center. All right? So what happens to them? What about them for the self-defense? What are they going to use? I think it's something that hasn't really been discussed. I mean, friends and family is one thing, but what happens if you don't have friends or family to protect you and keep you safe? You have to protect yourself. And I don't know what the answer to that question would be.
What is this you're reading, Michelle?
What's that?
What is it you're reading? Is the Connecticut law to own a firearm?
Yeah, these are the reasons why you couldn't have a firearm. I just went through.
Oh, okay.
But Stan said that Connecticut does require that you have to, for lack of a better answer, have to basically show proficiency and go through firearm training to use a firearm. Oh, wow. I'll get out of the screen. Oh. Yeah. But is that? No. What is this screen? Oh, okay. Well, it's a screen. I can click on it and close it then. Oh, let's do that. Okay, so yeah, it explains in Connecticut you have to have the skill to fire a firearm. Basically, you can't just be. But I don't know what the proficiency requirements are. 269. Who the hell's that? Hi, Crystalline. How you doing? Personally, I don't really want a gun, but just everybody keeps talking. Oh, that's a great poll. Let's do a poll. Okay. Let's do a poll. Okay. First of all, what is your favorite item for defense? Item for defense. Okay. The first one will be baseball bat. Everybody talks about those, right? Which is actually a form of a staff, actually. The second one is knife. Third one will be sword, and that, right? Fourth will be handgun, and then we'll have rifle. And let's say baseball bat. I only got 4, huh? Okay, so let's see, gun, handgun, or rifle. Since I can't have this as a fifth one, so these choices are baseball bat, which is a staff, the knife, the sword, and a handgun or rifle. Now, I'm curious to see which ones you prefer, which weapons you like, what's your favorite, and why do you choose them. Now, don't just say I pick option 5. I'd love to hear your reason why you chose what you chose. Okay, knife says Tiger Kitty. Well, right now we're not doing the public link at this minute. It used to be all I'd want is wisdom, trust, and truth, but now all I really want is forgiveness for you. Huh? What does that mean? What are you talking about there? Oh, good question. Alright, so look, they want the public panel open. I pick a sword because I want to lop someone's head off. So listen, I can understand your logic behind that. But I'm going to be honest with you, this a typical person, unless you got a really tremendous amount of upper body strength and you happen to have a sword that's good, sharp, very sharp blade, is more than likely is going to seriously cut into the cartoid. It's not going to really necessarily lop your head off completely. I don't think most female sword wielders would be able to really get enough upper body strength to totally remove a head. You want to try practicing it, try it with a watermelon and a sword. A woman can certainly
I don't know. I think Seasons might be able to do it.
Maybe she might. I don't know. I probably could too. I mean, if I really had focused on what I was doing, I probably could do it. Like I said, they use watermelons a lot for testing purposes, or pumpkins. All right, so let's get the public panel open. Do you mind the public panel being open as well? Because they kind of want the public panel open too.
They're already doxing me in your chat, Michelle. If you open it up and you Yam Ranch on, and I'm sure Paul's going to be involved in it too, to dox my phone number and dox my name. I'm probably just going to jump off. I'm not playing these fucking games.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't need that. So I can fit a knife in my bag. That's true. You can fit a knife in your bag. All right, depending on the knife laws in your state, you may actually be allowed to carry a small, even a kitchen knife can still do a number on somebody. Anybody who's ever used a steak knife, I know it's only got about 3 to 4 inch blade, but seriously, if you impale someone with a steak knife, I mean, they'll still bleed, no matter what. What do you mean, why would they do that? Well, here's the reason I would choose what I choose. Of course, I can't vote in my own poll. Baseball bat. Well, here's the thing with baseball bat or staff. You're talking about something that has weight, but it's a blunt weapon. It doesn't have the ability to sever and cut. You can bruise somebody pretty good with a staff or a baseball bat, which could still be what it takes to basically knock your assailant out. Can cause concussions and contusions. You definitely can break bones if you hit hard enough. A sword, a knife, which is the second one, like Tiger Kitty said, is portable. It's small, it's light. You can stick it in your purse. Of course, it still has to be maintained. Make sure that the blade is clean. You want to keep it from rusting out, so you need to keep it oiled. But it's still sharp enough to cause good harm if maintained. A knife will last you a long time. But you need to be proficient in how to use it, though. I mean, just like in, any kind of weapon, if you don't know how to use the knife in defense, there's no time to talk about, am I supposed to do this? Like you see in Hong Kong Fu, right? According to the book of Kung Fu, it says to do this move. Sorry, Hong Kong Fu, but nobody has time to read a book and then they fight, okay? You either know how to go straight for where you got to go for, or you are going to be dead. Because the other guy could be using a knife, or he could be using a sword. He could even be using a baseball bat. So you need to be able to protect yourself with a knife, okay? Same with a sword, same with a gun. I mean, with a gun, did you make sure to load the chamber with bullets? Okay, and look, there's different kinds of guns, obviously, just like there's different kind of knives and swords. But I mean, like, if it's an older antique flintlock, did you make sure to put in the powder? Did you make sure to put in the wadding? Did you make sure to put in the shot? Or actually, I think put the shot in, then the wadding, and then did you put your percussion cap on it? If it's a modern weapon, did you make sure to put the shell in the chamber? Did you make sure to release the safety? Did you make sure to pull the trigger? Is your weapon clean to prevent any kind of a jam, which is something that can happen with guns. Swords don't get jammed, but swords and knives do rust. Now, are you over listening to me? It says, you can put my massager up your purse too. I heard you. Who the hell is Yam Ranch? Yam Ranch, what the fuck are you doing? Yam Ranch, what the fuck are you doing? Come on. Get out of here. Take a break.
He's doxing my address, Michelle.
I see that. Mods, anybody who gives out addresses without permission, I want the messages hidden. Or if the person keeps going in, this includes you, Yam Ranch, you will be removed from the chat completely. Thank you, Stan. If the individual decides that they want to give out their own address, that's different. Okay? My address is almost everywhere. You can't miss mine. So, just absolutely important to remember that whatever weapon you choose, you need training for it. Well, Stan, what you didn't tell me is there a proficiency requirement for that gun test? Do you have to show a certain number of successful hits at a certain distance in order to pass it? Because, I mean, if you're just going to give a person a gun and they don't have to show a minimum proficiency standard, doesn't that potentially make them a danger to other people? Unintentionally, when they could accidentally miss, a shot could go wild and hit some innocent bystander instead of the assailant. Nettles, I don't have time to talk right now. I'm on the show.
Michelle, I thought we were doing the panel tonight.
I'm doing all right, but we're live right now.
Yeah, no, I thought I'm watching. Are we supposed to do the panel or no?
She's on a private panel.
Yeah, but I was asked to come up here tonight to do the panel with you guys. Are we not doing it?
Why don't you, Michelle? Why don't you? Can we send him the private link? I mean, you can always change it if something happens.
I'll send him private link, but I'm not going to send him the same private link.
Okay.
I will send you a private link, Noodles, right now in your text message on the phone. All right?
Okay, yeah, I mean, Michelle, if you don't want to do it, I won't do it. I'm hanging around. I'm thinking you wanted to do this. That's the only reason I'm calling you.
All right. So let me go ahead and send you a private link so you can join up on the show, okay? All right. Watch your text messages. Yep. All right. So let me send him a private link. Oh, I said it doesn't have to have a spare anyway. Let me just get this open here. Google Meet. Yeah. Because he Yuck Ranch, I can't even give a public link anymore because he basically sabotages the whole thing. Got a bit of a headache. All right, so, all right. New meeting. Start an instant meeting. And I'm going to do is, since I don't have Noodles' actual email, I'm going to copy this link. And let's see. Can I invite others? Let's see. Maybe I can have Noodles come on here. And, no, I don't have Noodles. Nope. No, I don't have Noodles. I didn't think so. All right, so let me copy this link here. Copy that. I'm going to go into Messenger or email. I'm going to mail it to me first because I got to send it to him as a text message. So let me get him on message, compose a message, because I don't have an email address for him anyway. So I'm going to send it to me. All right, compose. Oh, never mind loading. Just give me the message. Okay, I'm going to send it to me so I can send it to him. BICHLA3@gmail.com. Link for Noodles. Or Noodles. Alright. And paste. Okay. I'm going to send that to me, and then I can send it to him and text message it to him. The reason why I this way, I also have a spare panel link too, in case something stupid happens. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Okay. CVS Pharmacy. Okay. Okay, I want to copy link. And I want to send it to Noodles. Okay. So I'm going to enter backspace. Go to compose a message to DAB, David Noodles. Yep. Paste. Okay. So I just sent him the link in his private email. So that way he can talk to us and we can still focus on keeping the show free, Yam Ranch free. So that we can still have a show would be Yam Ranch free. No more Yam Ranch. I don't want Yam Ranch here. Really. He just does a habit of basically pushing my buttons. Okay, he's ready to come on now. And let's see, here goes Bounty Hunter. All right. Good evening. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing right.
Hey, Noodle.
Yeah. Are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on another panel.
All right. So, Michelle, I saw those restrictions, right? And my question to you is, have they ever restricted you to vote?
No.
Or practice freedom of speech or anything like that because of your legal blindness or maybe your mental issues or anything like that?
I don't have mental issues, but no, they did not. However,
Why?
as I said, Stan told me is that one of the other requirements is you have to take a 8 hours of gun training, and I wonder how good of a marksman you have to be to get a gun in those 8 hours.
Well, I'll tell you this, that the police, when I used to do the pre-qualifications for the NYPD, you don't need much. You need to hit the paper. So here's the thing, Michelle. I would never tell you to buy a gun or to whatever. If you want to argue about what is better or whatever. But what I want to ask you is, why are they restricting you from participating in a right, this right, and not any other rights? Why would they do that?
First of all, I think it comes with the issues. They want people who'll be able to hit the target, not some innocent bystander.
So did they make you take a test to vote?
You have to take a test to get the gun to stand set. Okay.
Do they make you take a test to vote?
You know what? You need to take. No, they don't make you take a test to vote, but maybe they should start requiring that. Not because of me, but no, because the fact is, a gun is a lethal weapon. That's why you have to show preference. Just like when you take a test to get a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Same reason, because vehicle homicides and vehicular manslaughter is a real thing. Okay, you're dealing with a vehicle that can cause harm, so they require you to have a driving test for that to prove that you do know and have command of the wheel of the car.
Is driving a right?
I know that's a good question. Is driving a right or is it a privilege?
The answer is no. I'll answer for you right now. The answer is no. You have no right to drive. It's a privilege. It's a privilege granted to you by the state, and every state that you travel through. You have no right to a vehicle. You have no right to a driver's license. You do have a right to vote, and you do have a right to arm yourself. So my question to you is, what test do you take to vote?
You don't. You have to accept that you're an American citizen and that you were born and raised in this country, or you were naturalized. And you have taken the American citizenship exam.
Okay, so they don't make you take a test, right? You just got to prove that you're a citizen. Kind of like what you got to do to buy a gun, right?
Kind of. I mean, you need to prove that you understand the country's laws and policies.
When was the last time they asked you for a photo ID when you went to go vote?
I got asked for photo ID every time I go to my polling place.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
is that legal or illegal?
Yes, that's illegal in Connecticut. That's the law.
You could refuse it. You know that, right? You're willingly giving it up. You don't have to show any ID. All you have to say is, "This is who I am, and I'm here," and you got to sign your name, and that's it.
Stan, does it say anywhere in the training for gun ownership what your proficiency is? How many times you must hit the target at a set distance? I might as well ask that question.
Now, is this just a Connecticut thing? Because in Michigan, when I went and got my gun, I didn't need to take no test. All they had to do was a background check, and I just had to sign something, and I was able to purchase a gun.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same thing in New Jersey. We need to get a federal background check. So they do a federal background check.
Yeah, we got a federal background check in Connecticut, too.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that, right? That's reasonable, right? Like, you want to know if someone's who they are, who they say they are, and I think they should do that with voting. But they take your fingerprints. Usually get the permit in like 2 months, and once you get that permit, you can buy any long arm, you can buy any rifle, whatever. You want to buy a pistol, you have to apply for it.
But given the crazy things that are going on in the world right now, is 2 months too long? That's a good question we should ask. Is 2 months too long? The demand.
Stan, I don't think she's being restricted. I think she's having to jump through hoops to participate in a right that everybody participates in. Everybody's allowed to, except if you're a fucking felon. Again, Michelle,
I'm not
I
a
don't know. I
felon.
mean, Michelle, just because you're blind, why can't you defend yourself?
I can't defend myself. But remember, some people don't like guns that much. I prefer something that's a little less likely to worry about getting accidentally discharged. Something that's also physically is not likely to be, lost, fall into kids' hands. Having to worry about trigger locks. Although you can certainly put locks on swords too. You can put it in a case that has a lockable case. For the same reason, you need to keep it away from children. Also, you don't have to worry about what size ammunition you need to use. I mean, for example, do you use 9mm? Do you use 357? Do you use 38? It's basically, it doesn't need any consumables like that at all.
So, wait, what are you trying to say? That made no sense. None of that.
Actually, it does make sense if you start to pick it through slowly. First of all, I don't like guns. I think they're loud. They're noisy.
All right. Let's start there.
Because of her Asperger's, I think the loud noise is the problem that she doesn't like.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But Michelle, let me ask you a question. If you don't like Donald Trump or you don't like Joe Biden, should that stop anyone from letting you vote? Because you like Donald Trump? Should you not be allowed to vote?
It's not. This is totally not even
Donald Trump.
Noodles, this isn't even in the same league of question.
Yes, it is. It's a right. It's a right. Listen, Michelle, the
right to bear arms also includes more than one type of arms. Okay.
Excuse me, Michelle, but you got to remember, we elect people. Your hair looks great, by the way. We elect people to allow other people to murder unborn children, millions of them. Millions of them.
I don't even want to go into that area right now, but I'm saying
come on, you're talking about a right, Michelle. This is a right.
Right, I understand. All right, I'll let Leo ask questions to you, Noodles, because I'm taking a sip of my tea first.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what to ask him, and I guess this stream is more to kind of convince you, Michelle, that a gun is the better weapon. People understand why you don't like the gun because it's loud, it sets you off. But in cases where it could save your life potentially, I mean, could you get over the loud bang? I mean, I think they're just trying to let you know of your rights. And, I don't know anything about any of this except for what is in my state, what applies to us here.
Now,
it's concerning that you think that a sword is a better weapon.
Michelle, if I don't have a child in the house, do I need a safe?
All right, let me read something here. It says here, Stan, Connecticut says, I believe in the 1994 pistol and revolvers I believe since 1994, pistol and revolvers cannot be purchased in Connecticut without a carry permit. Long arms, which includes rifles, can be purchased without a permit. Okay. So I can go to Dick's Sporting Goods and I can buy a shotgun.
Wait a second. That's unfair. That's not a true statement. Your permit is your residency, your driver's license. That's your permit. The fact that you are a United States citizen, that is your permit right there.
Yeah, but you see, I think they see the gun permit, a handgun permit is different. And that's one of the reasons why I'm having the show is I'm trying to understand this. I mean, I have a real ID, which is expired, just expired in February. I've got to get it renewed. Okay. But we already know that with the situation with the big P, that the DMV is doing, you have to make an appointment to come in to renew your real ID. Okay? That's another topic. So, yeah, I have a real ID, but the question is, Well, the question I guess comes down to is if you can get a rifle at say Dick's Sporting Goods, then and you don't need a permit.
If you do,
then what?
They're not just going to sell anyone. First of all, you have to be a certain age, right? Right. You have to be a United States citizen.
Yeah.
How do you prove that?
Oh, I can show my birth certificate. That's one way.
Okay. Well, do they want to know if you're a resident of Connecticut?
Joel Mickle says, Michelle.
Don't read that. Don't read that.
All right. I'm just curious what that said anyway.
Yeah, read it to yourself then.
All right. Oh, okay, I see. Well, that doesn't make any sense now.
No. It's just people trying to start shit in your chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's still, I mean, a firearm is, like I said, some people like firearms, some people don't. All right, let's... So
Michelle, how far, because we know you're not completely blind, and we know, like, distance to you is blurry, but how far in front of you can you see before it's...
And my right eye is 2,800, and my left eye is 2,400.
Okay, so, like, could you make out an object?
Yes, I can see, for example, the microwave across from me in the kitchen, but don't ask me to read the buttons on it because I can't read the buttons from it. But I can see this microwave there.
Michelle, I don't think they want you to shoot something 300 yards away. You know, for instance, I told you before, you can look it up. The FBI stats on shootouts is anywhere between 2 feet to 5 feet normally, 98% of the times. Right.
Which is the same place where you typical, even a gladius could still basically be quite a successful weapon. Because you're talking about short-range weapons.
Let me ask you a question. How many times would you have to hit me with your gladius to kill me?
I don't know. Depends on where I hit you. If I hit you right in the smack dab center of your chest, if I manage to get through your rib cage, and get right to your heart, you probably would die pretty fast.
Well, let's say it took me 2 minutes, right? And I wanted to hurt you really bad.
Oh, I'd be able to duck out of your way pretty quick. Trust me, because.
You think so?
I think so.
Have you ever watched a video of someone going after someone else, and they get stabbed or shot?
No, I haven't, but I can tell you that, number one, if you're hurting and you're bleeding out, you're not exactly going to be in the mood to exactly run after somebody.
Do you know anything about the FBI shootout in Miami that took place like 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it involved a couple of, I think they were drug dealers or bank robbers in Miami or something. There was an FBI shootout. The gentleman killed, I think, 4 FBI agents. And when they found him, he had been shot, I think, like 13 times. 13 times.
Right.
And the coroner said that he actually was shot in the heart and still killed after he was shot in the heart.
Right.
Michelle, I'm not trying to argue with you about, what you should do. But I'm telling you right now, there is no better human being stopper right now, except maybe a nuclear bomb, than a friggin' bullet. I'm telling you.
But you do realize that a gun is not the only ranged weapon you can use, though. Okay? It's the smallest one.
If someone comes in your house, Michelle, and says, "Hey, Michelle, I want to kill you," all right?
For example,
let's say they pull out a baseball bat.
Let's keep in mind. No, stop for a second. Let's keep in mind what includes ranged weapons: gun, cannon, crossbow, which is a little bit bigger, and of course you also have a regular standard bow and a recurve bow, and also more permanent installations, ballistas, and trebuchets. Those are ranged weapons, all right? Obviously, the most conveniently small of the ranged weapons is a gun. A rifle would be the second smallest. However, as I said, they use consumables. We were talking about this morning what happens if there's a shortage of consumables. What kind of weapons are you going to use if you can't get any bullets? If you can't get the powder, if you can't get the shot, if you can't get the empty shells, if that's your thing, you're not going to be using your gun very much except as a club.
Right now, Michelle, if things got that bad, all right, if things got that bad, where I'd make fucking bombs. I'd fucking make Molotov cocktails. I'd make whatever I could, but I would not fucking go after someone with a sword.
Oh, I disagree with you on that. Yeah, sure. You want to use incendiary devices, sure, but again, there's an issue of
we fought a war for 20 years in a broke ass country with a bunch of broke ass people, and they got fucking bullets all the time.
Sure, and except the one thing,
now they're running.
They have access to the production to make them. What if you don't? We were talking about the supply chain this morning, the fact that the supply chains are starting to collapse.
Michelle, like I said, for 20 years, we fought a war in a broke-ass fucking country, and those people had no problem getting that stuff. You're telling me they weren't trying to cut down on supply chains? I mean, think about it. Who in their right mind would have sold weapons or fucking bullets to any of those cavemen in Afghanistan?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to all the questions, but I just, again, like I said, I have my view on it. I'm thinking it's realistically to have a proper personal armory, you need to consider multiple types of weapons. I still believe you need to have multiple types of weapons. You need to know how to use a gun. You need to know how to use a stave. You need to know how to use a mace, a club. A bow, an arrow, various types, crossbow, compound bow, whatever. Because if you are only depending on one weapon for defense, and that one weapon is not available to you, then you have no defense.
Why don't you teach your cat how to kill? So you don't have to.
Oh, my cat could literally kill. He's certainly quite capable of ripping up someone open and ripping someone a new asshole. Yeah. He ripped up my hand pretty good one time and he got mad at me. I almost need stitches for that, too.
Slingshot Warrior got attacked unprovoked. He was on a date. Went back to some woman's house and the cat attacked him from behind.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, wow. Michelle, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. If I saw you running around with a sword outside my house, all right, the first thing I would do is I'd peek my head out the fucking window, laugh at you. Then I go grab my AR and then fucking probably, pump 30 in your fucking chest and pick up your sword and leave you there in the street.
Krell says, here's the thing, if you win versus dog or cat, but how much damage can they do first?
Yeah, if you can teach them to go for the proper areas.
Oh, I mean, the stockpile is huge. That's the Branch Davidians. The basement was loaded. The Branch Davidians' basement was loaded. With in Waco.
Most gun owners, Michelle, I don't know if you know this. Most gun owners that I know don't have like a couple boxes of bullets in their house. They have thousands and thousands and thousands. I think right now I probably have 10,000 rounds. I'm not going to run around town with them, but they're there. I could barter with them. I can, at the most I could probably carry maybe 300 rounds. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, again,
is there a limit, Noodles, to carrying? Like, no. Do you have a carry permit, a concealed permit or whatever? I don't know how it works in New Jersey.
At one time I did, but it was only good for I think 30 something states, and New Jersey wasn't one of them.
Oh, geez.
Right. So you have to do. So you have to do open carry now, right?
I'm sorry?
You have to do open carry now because you don't have a concealed permit.
No, we're not allowed to carry in the state of New Jersey. The only time I'm allowed to transport, but there's restrictions on the transport. So, for instance, if I wanted to take it out of my house, I can't. There's brandishing laws, which I can't brandish it. I can't run out of my house with it and just throw it in my car. It has to be in a container, right? It has to be separate from the ammunition, and it has to be whatever. And I cannot stop along the way while I'm transporting, which is totally unfair in the state of New Jersey, because the state of New Jersey takes about 3 hours to travel through.
Right.
And sometimes you got to take a piss, but that's against the law.
That's kind of extreme.
Yeah. And these laws were created by people who hate guns.
Well, I don't hate guns. I just choose not to carry one. That was what I'm trying to point out.
Yeah, no one's debating that. I'm just telling you right now, your sword is going to be worthless against anyone with a gun.
Well, don't forget that. Back in the old days, the old expression I explained this morning, this was said, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. But the reason was that don't forget the knife in the gunfight, the guns had to be reloaded with single shots unless you were a 6-shooter. And then the knife clearly could get the guy.
I would go back to the Kenosha incident with the hero, Kyle Rittenhouse. And, if you watch that, you'll see that everything that took place happened within 3 feet, 2 inches. All right. And every single shot that this person did, even the ones that he didn't hit anyone with, made everyone run away. Everyone.
Yeah.
And he vaporized some asshole's arm. It exploded, Michelle.
Stan CT says, so New Jersey is more restrictive than Connecticut as far as legal carrying a gun goes. That's what it appears, Stan.
Yeah. New Jersey, I went to go get I applied for it one time. The cops tried talking me out of it because it's a hassle for them, because they have to submit it. They cannot refuse it. It has to go in front of a judge, and even if the judge was allowing me to do this, I would need to prove that I was transporting over $5,000 cash every day. This was probably about 8 years ago I applied for this. I would have had to have been a victim of a violent crime such as rape or murder or attempted murder. And even if they were giving me that, there would be tons of restrictions thrown on top.
Okay.
The cops basically told me to go out, get raped a bunch of times, stabbed, and go get a job that allows you to carry $5,000 cash every day. And then they would think about it.
Deborah Clee says you can look at the Waukesha incident too. If people want to kill, they would just go run you down with a car, which would be vehicle homicide. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but again, you have no right to a vehicle. You have no right to a car. You have no right to a driver's license.
Right.
So I understand that you can do anything you want, but this is about rights, and I think that them making you sit through a class is kind of ridiculous when no one's sitting through a class to vote. No one's sitting through a class to learn how freedom of speech. Did you have to sit through a class to do this, Michelle?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a good question. I'm not afraid of speech, no, but although my parents probably wish they shut up at 3 years old.
All right, but imagine if your parents restricted you from certain rights, they'd be arrested.
Right.
So why are the states allowed to do this? Why doesn't the federal government step in and say no? You're restricting
because under the 13th Amendment, the states have the right to regulate their own within-state behaviors.
Yes, but federal law supersedes states. Because if a state said, we don't want any black people in here, the federal government can come in and say, no, that's against the law. And that's what happened with the Civil War. That's how the Civil War started.
Right, and also don't forget too, like the same thing with the Mary Jane laws. I mean, there's a lot of states now that have legalized recreational Mary Jane sales.
Yes, and they're breaking federal law.
And then some are saying, well, federal law says it's a Schedule 1 and it should not be sold. And yet states are saying, as far as we're concerned, it can be sold. Yeah. Again, the 13th Amendment is...
in the state of California, for instance, in the state of California, when the sheriff's department wants to arrest you for a marijuana crime, he can't do it. So you know what they do?
They make another crime.
You know what they do? They get the federal agents in there to arrest you. Federal agents have to come to your house to arrest you. The sheriff can't. So my point is that federal law supersedes state law. If the state decided one day you can't vote because you're white or you're a Trump supporter,
Stan, the last time I fired a gun was at a summer camp called Camp High Rock back in 1982 on the rifle range. And that was the last time I fired a gun. And that scared the living hell out of me, frankly, very much. Trying to hit a target 300, yards away, a little piece of paper, scared the living hell out of me. Someone else is ringing my digital doorbell. 1 minute. Okay, it's Paul coming on with the private panel. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, there we go. Hey, good evening, Michelle.
How you doing?
Nothing. Pretty good. Just watching you and having some dinner. Yeah, I agree with Noodles. You don't have to sit through a class for your freedom of speech, your right to assemble. But it's not fair, Michelle. They're should give everybody guns. Legal citizens, of course. They should do what they're doing in Ukraine. Just dumping some AKs out in the middle of the street and letting people have at it.
You know what's funny about that? They said if you can't get a hold of a gun, make Molotov cocktails.
They show how to make them on the public access channel in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the brewing companies stopped making beer and they started making Molotov cocktails.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that really friggin' drives me crazy. They spent 2 weeks before the invasion training civilians how to use fucking AK-74s, running through buildings, blah, blah, blah. But if that happened in the United States, a large majority of the country, citizens, wouldn't have to be trained. Everybody knows how to use them. I mean, have you ever shot one?
I don't know how to drive an AK-47 or AK-74 or even an M16. I have no idea how to do any of that.
Okay.
Me neither.
My point is that there's a large part of the American public, citizens, that already know how to do this. We don't have to train them.
Oh yeah,
Still, they were
those that were in the military certainly would know how. Yeah, and now guys, don't forget we also have the right to form militias, local militias. We have that also in our right too.
Michelle, I got a question for you. To do this 8-hour class, right? Is it paid for by the United States or the citizens or the taxpayers of Connecticut, or does it come out of your pocket?
I have to pay for it according to Stan. There's like a $75 fee for the class.
Okay, so why?
Because they want to make sure you have proficiency of using a gun. That's why.
When you go to
probably
vote,
the same reason
you have to pay
for a medical marijuana card. The state wants their money. Whether it's helping, you're getting a card for medicine, but yet, you still have to pay like $300 to get it.
Yeah, but that's not a right.
Charging people for medicine that's helping them.
Yeah, but that's not a right. So like you have to relate it to voting, something that's a right. And when we go to vote, no one's making me freaking pay anything. It comes out of our taxes. So why doesn't the state of Connecticut pay for it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
If they want this debate, then why don't they make everyone pay for it? It's a right, Michelle. It's not a privilege. You shouldn't be asking for anything. If they want you to jump through hoops, they should be paying for it.
Well, okay. So, by the way, yes, you as Americans in the right have the right to start your own militias too. So, what I think, if I ever did start a militia, it would be one that is basically based on all weapons types. You know, the crossbow, the recurved or the combination bow, the mace, the stave, the sword, the gun, the rifle. I would be training the people to use all of those. Specifically,
are you sure you don't need a license for a crossbow in Connecticut?
You might be, because it's trajectory. Now, Noodles, like if Michelle were to get something, what would you recommend? What would be the easiest you think would be for her?
A Red Ryder BB gun. No, I mean, so to be honest with you, for her, the easiest thing for anyone, and is a Glock or something similar to that.
A baseball bat.
There's only certain things.
Stan sent me a link to what was it, Stan? A Lady Smith and Wesson.
Maybe like a 22 or a 380, something small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle.
I don't know.
I don't know about a Glock. I mean, that might be a bit much.
She can get a 380. I think they make it a 380 Glock 22. Yeah. But my point is, Michelle,
small,
is that you feeling uncomfortable about something doesn't mean that it should be okay for you to pay to take a class just so you can participate in a right that everyone has the opportunity in this country to participate in, unless you're a felon.
It does seem odd. You would think that they would want people to take the class for gun safety, and have people volunteer to do that rather than to pay, have people pay for it. It does seem a little odd.
Isn't that weird? Weird?
People who are against guns would have the argument that they don't want to pay for the people who do want the guns. I don't know, but off the top of my head, I could see that being an argument. The people who are anti-gun, aren't going to want to pay for the people who have the guns.
What about if you're broke, or what about if you're impoverished, and let's say you wanted to just buy a $50 High Point or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you saved up all year for it, you could finally buy it, but now they want you to take a $500 class.
Right.
Just because you're poor, shouldn't restrict you from participating in a constitutional right.
Yeah.
Right, it shouldn't.
Right.
But then you could always buy a gun on the black market too. You don't forget that's another option.
Then you'd be breaking the law.
Yeah, and then you would become a felon.
Right.
You don't want to do that.
But in Connecticut, rifles are not.
Why should you have to break the law?
Rifles don't have these restrictions.
In a constitutional right. Think about it. Why should you break the law to participate in a constitutional right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that if you can get a rifle in Connecticut, you don't even need a permit. Something tells me. I don't know what the other states are.
That's not true. That's not true. Your permit is your driver's license or anything saying that you live in the state of Connecticut. All right. For instance, if I was 11 years old, right, and I walked up to a counter to go buy a gun, they're going to know how old I am. Now, how are they going to figure that out? I could just tell them I'm 35.
Right, but you have to show ID, prove that you, or a birth certificate to show that you are of at least 21 years of age.
That is your permit.
Yeah.
We have voter fraud in this country, and the reason why we have voter fraud in this country is because if they ask you for a driver's license, you don't have to provide it. You can cause a big stink about that.
Which brings up, speaking of, we're talking about driving. If driving is a privilege, then isn't having a driver's license a privilege? Because obviously, if you can't drive, you're not going to have a driver's license.
I don't know why they would be asking you for a driver's license if you're not driving.
Stan CT's there. Let's get some answers from the official legal eagle. Hey, Stan, how you doing?
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, Stan.
I'm doing all right. So we just asked a very interesting case. If driving is a privilege in the state of Connecticut, and you can't drive because you don't have a driver's license, then how can you present a driver's license to show you are of age to buy a firearm at, say, Dick's Sporting Goods?
You have state ID, though, Michelle.
Right.
You have to have an identification. It doesn't have to be a driver's license. It just has to be a valid ID.
I think what Noodles is getting at is a lot of the shit that we have going on now is unconstitutional. And he's absolutely right in that regard. But, the laws are so fucked up that they make you jump through hoops and get all these, certifications and licenses for this, that, and the other. Where,
right. Well, my real ID expired last month, so I have to get it renewed.
Have to do any of it.
Dan, let me ask you a question.
Like
Besides being hired by the state, instead of being hired by the state, or except for being hired by the county or the government, what is the difference between you and a police officer?
One is paid by the city or the town or the county.
I said except being hired by the state or the city.
Yeah,
what is the difference between you and a police officer? Some people would say training. Some people would say, "Oh, these cops have a lot of training." I went to the state police, and I said, "Listen," because I was really trying to get this carry permit. I was like, "I want to be certified through you guys, and I want to really go to a judge and say, listen, I've taken the same certifications that you give to the state police, which you allow to carry guns on duty and off duty. All right. Now I want to know why I can't carry one." So you know what the state police told me? They go, "We don't do that. There's nothing in the state of New Jersey that they will not give you anything to say that you are allowed to carry a gun, except for a firearms ID card that's backed by the federal government."
Okay.
It's crazy.
Well, now let's talk about something. Speaking of IDs, is now my real ID expired. I got to get it renewed sometime this month coming up, or the month after that. Unlike a driver's license, they're not charging me late penalty fees, but I have to get it renewed. I got to make an appointment with the DMV. Yada yada yada. I got to have money for that. Yada yada yada. You can't do it online. You got to do it in the office.
Why don't you just do it through the mail, Michelle? They send you a form in the mail. You just check a box, send the money order in for like $5, and you're done.
Because they don't offer that as an option. They say if you're not going to go for a real ID, yes, I can renew it online. However, if you don't have a real ID, you cannot go into airports. You cannot go into federal courthouses.
Michelle, you don't even like to fly, first of all. And when's the next time you think you're going to be in a federal courthouse?
Michelle, that's not true. I got a mail-in driver's license, and they use it to go into federal buildings. I do it every week.
Do they have a gold star on
it? Scan it. They give me they print out a little thing I stick on my jacket, and I go upstairs and I take care of my business.
Okay. Really? So you don't need the real ID to go into federal buildings.
No.
Then why are they asking people to get real ID if you don't need it?
Because they're scaring you into more bullshit that you don't need to do. I mean, I don't know about flights. I haven't flown recently, so I don't know if that's true. But
maybe if you're leaving the country.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't see if I were to jump on a plane in New Haven and fly down to Miami. I don't see any reason for them to need a real ID. They have my driver's license. I have a second photo pistol permit if they want to see that. Give me my fucking ticket and leave me alone.
Right. Well, if you could pull up the details from the Connecticut DMV regarding real ID, because I read my renewal, and it's like, oh, you have to come into the office with the proof.
Yes, you do have to go in for that. And I was pressed for time because I didn't renew my driver's license right away, and I was busy. I had no time to when you go to try to schedule in Connecticut Motor Vehicle Department, everything's backed up like weeks, and I didn't have that time, so I elected to just get the mail-in ID. You know.
Okay.
But to answer your question, if you want the the real ID, quote unquote, yes, you do have to make an appointment with Motor Vehicles in Torrington, probably for you, and go there and do that there.
Assuming I can actually physically get an appointment within a reasonable period of time, because I still have to work with other people for transportation.
The earlier you try to schedule it, the earlier you'll get one. If you sit around talking about it for 6 weeks, you're going to be shit out of luck.
Yeah, Michelle, do you guys still need to set up appointments to go to like the DMV, or can you just walk right in now?
You gotta make appointments.
They need to make appointments.
Yeah, here too.
Since COVID, they've done that.
So you're saying is that my ID is going to expire in 6 weeks? I mean,
I don't know when it already did expire.
No, you said it was expired. He's saying set it up now. Don't sit on it.
Yeah, don't sit on it. Set it up now. The earlier you go online and make an appointment, the earlier you can get in and get it taken care of, Michelle.
Yeah.
And make sure you clear it with Krista and her husband, because they're probably
right. Well, that's what I mean. That's my transportation. Clearly, I have to find out what days are good for them to make the appointment for the same day and time.
Well, again, Michelle, you can just do it over the internet or through the mail and just get a regular ID. You're not going to be in an airport anytime soon, if that is the case. I mean, you're not going to be flying anywhere.
And if you really need to go into a federal building, I don't think they're going to stop you. I mean, how are they going to stop you?
Yeah, they're not. I mean, criminals go into federal buildings on a daily basis,
right,
to get their charges taken care of.
Yeah, wouldn't a post office be like a federal building?
It is. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
the VA is a federal building. Felons are in there all the time.
Yeah. One time if they checked my ID when I went to mail something, or if I had to go pay a ticket or a fine, to get in the door. It's not like a nightclub.
I go to my P.O. box at 4:30 in the morning sometimes. Doors open, I walk right in. The lobby part is locked, but the mailbox, the P.O. boxes are open. I walk in there. I could walk in there with a gun. Nobody's gonna know. Walk out, get my mail.
Right.
You're not supposed to have a gun in the federal building. They have a sign there saying, no firearms, no weapons, blah blah blah. Yeah, but there's nobody there. I mean, they're all behind the wall doing their shit. There's a lot of laws that are there to scare people from doing shit, and they succeed for the law-abiding people. The psychopaths don't care about laws. They'll do what they want to do. They'll go in and blow people away at any given moment, anywhere.
They got nothing to lose.
They got nothing to lose. Yeah.
Okay.
Michelle, what do you think about President Biden announcing that he's going to be closing down 2 VA hospitals in Manhattan?
What do I think about it? I mean, Donald Trump, for example, wanted the vets to be able to go to the regular hospitals if they need care because the VA system at the time was a mess. So, if they were going to continue to allow the vets to receive medical care, even at a regular hospital, then that's fine.
Or where would all the doctors go and the employees?
Oh, they probably would just if they're capable, they probably would go right to a regular private practice.
You think so?
I would think so. Yeah,
I work in these facilities, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but the VA hires a lot of handicapped veterans. A lot of handicapped veterans.
Yeah.
I doubt that a private doctor's office or hospital would be hiring a mentally handicapped man to work in that facility. A 7-foot-tall black mentally handicapped man who screams nonstop every goddamn morning when I enter the building.
You're talking about the doctors in the VA hospital system closing. I'm sure the VA has requirements for the doctors that they have to clearly understand what they're doing. I'm not
he's
sure
not
about
saying
the
these
patients.
people are doctors, Michelle, but what Noodles is saying is that the VA hospital gives these people a place to work and a place to be like a part of society.
And it keeps them off the street.
Correct.
So the same thing with the sanitariums.
If these places close,
what should we do, Michelle?
We'll be back out on
the street. Should we do?
streets.
Open the sanitariums and stick all these people in the fucking nut house? Or do you think we should give them something to do, Michelle? Something productive. I just talked to some guy today, Michelle. Right? The guy had a bad life, Michelle, but he was in the military in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Right? They gave him free medicine. They give him a paycheck, and they're cutting him a new paycheck for being affected from 1980 all the way to today. That's something like he's getting a $90,000 check cut from the government. This guy, if this guy didn't have this, Michelle, this guy would be living on the street like a homeless person. Sanitariums aren't going to do that.
Okay. I personally, I don't know why were they going to close the 2 VA hospitals in New York City. What was the reason behind that? Cost cutting, or?
I guess so. Well, they actually, I just recently found out that a bunch of the administrators were let go because of they were kind of squandering the money over there. That place is horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Okay.
Well, they treat our vets like shit to begin with, so.
Yeah, we don't treat the vets.
You know what? I see these people coming in there, and I can't imagine them going anywhere else. You know what I mean? They like hang out there. They like live there. It's like a hangout too.
Yeah.
Well, it's complicated. I never thought about the VA actually giving employment to disabled vets to work in the hospital system. But, I mean, it would make sense, of course, that they would use their own people to do the work. Krell says,
well, it's good that they do that. It gives them something to, they served our country. These people they're valid people, and they're left behind. It gives them something to do.
Right. Just like YouTube gives me something to do. Krell said, I bet more than half of everyone working in government bureaucracy would probably agree that their job is pointless, redundant, or provides no real value. Yeah, I guess you could say that's true. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. What has she really got that would make her a good marketable thing outside in the civilian populace? Or Mitch McConnell, for that matter, or even Chuck Schumer.
So
or even Kevin McCarthy. I mean, what do these people have for skills?
How much does the President of the United States make each year?
I believe that Donald Trump was getting $250,000 a year, and he was giving it to various organizations to help pay for program funding voluntarily.
So how does someone like Nancy Pelosi, how much does she make a year?
She makes about $100,000. Right, maybe more than that.
How is it that she's been a politician basically for what? 40, 50 years, maybe even longer.
40 years. 40 years.
How is it that Nancy Pelosi has $77 million in the bank?
She gets paid for doing speeches too, same as all the other guys. I don't get that part.
$77 million, Michelle.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money, but she also invests in the stock market like a lot of them too.
Yeah.
It's not the stock market.
I don't get it. I don't know how these fucking politicians are so goddamn rich and they're not making that much money. They're richer than fucking doctors.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Michelle, you said that these people don't have any skills. Most of them are attorneys. So if they weren't doing what they're doing, they would probably be shaking down, defendants.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even divorce court. or personal injury.
Well, look, divorce court has a plaintiff and a defendant. You know, the person filing for divorce is the plaintiff, and the other person's the defendant.
Right.
And so
that means a lawyer per person. So 2 lawyers.
Well, you know, if it comes to that, then you know, people get divorced without a lawyer.
Oh yeah, they should be able to.
That's possible, and you know, so.
What about the personal injury cases, though? They're, again, under tort law. You often have attorneys or solicitors as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should have hired one when you fell in Jimmy's icy driveway there, but you fucked up, and the 2-year statute of limitations lapsed. So you're SOL, Michelle.
I'm not worried about that. That's past tense.
Oh, but you could have had your knee fixed for free. And got some money out of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Because his homeowners would have paid all your medical bills, Michelle. Everything. You wouldn't have paid a penny out of pocket.
Well, that's not what I was told, but okay, I'm not going to argue about that. That's past tense. So we're talking about present and future tense right now. What are you going to do when the lights go out? Because you know what? We talked about this morning about the fact that we're dependent on oil. What are you going to do if your lights go out? Because the question is, if you can't afford to pay your electric bill in the state of Connecticut, it's almost mandated to keep your electric on. I don't know how in the hell you get away with that, but there are people that have. They've said, for medical reasons, I need to keep my lights on, for example. But I don't think...
they get a form filled out by their doctor.
If you don't have electric in your house, can't your house be condemned?
Right.
No, people live without it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think where I live, right? If they shut the water off to the house, the electric, and something I'm just assuming it's water and electric, they can eventually condemn your house. They can definitely
if they pushed it. You're right. If they pushed it, they could, but there are ways around it. I mean, just because your toilet doesn't flush, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't go and get water to flush it. You know what I mean?
Right, and then there's no reason why they couldn't say, go ahead if you own your own lot, drill your own well, put in your own septic. You don't necessarily, in most cases, you don't have to be on a municipal water system in many cities.
If I cut off my electric,
that's beside the point, Michelle.
It's probably just more of cleanliness. If your house isn't disease ridden and feces everywhere and dirt, and I'm sure it's why would they condemn it if there's no water?
We've lived without power when I was a kid, and there's ways to get around that. They can't condemn you just because you don't have electric. I mean, it's your choice not to have it. I mean, some people can't pay their bill, but I mean, some people live without it by choice.
Yeah, the Amish don't have electric; they have gas.
Yeah, but don't forget the Amish are still required to have AC-powered smoke detectors in the state of Connecticut. So, especially for new construction. So, where are the Amish going to live if you have to live without it?
I'm not saying you can't live without it or you can't be clean, but I'm telling you right now, in a county that's heavily populated, I'm telling you right now, I really doubt they let you get away with that. They want everybody to have electric and water. And you're
right. They do want everyone to have it, but there's nothing they can do about it if you don't.
Right, if you have your well and you have your septic system, I mean, theoretically, there's not much they can do.
It's not a law that say that you have to have it.
In my yard. They won't allow me to do that.
But in the state of Connecticut nowadays, you're required for new construction to have smoke detectors wired into the mains. But if you're charging your power from the mains from the sun, and then what? What's your situation then? If you're getting the power from the sun, and then the power charges your batteries and your panel, and you don't want to necessarily run a whole house inverter because that introduces losses into the system. I mean, do you have to install low voltage DC smoke detectors that run an external battery main supply? I mean, that's
Michelle, Jimmy's apartment has none of those things. In fact,
I'm not talking about Jimmy's building. I'm talking about if you were to build your own building, and you wanted to meet the state of Connecticut's building requirements. Different question. So, because they said the building inspector said all new constructions have to have hardwired into the main smoke detectors. I said, what if you got they asked them this back in 1999. What if you want to build a house that's solar powered, and you don't want to provide 120 or 240 for your smoke detectors? Then what do you do?
Then you get a zoning variance, Michelle. That's what they do.
Just hire someone to stay awake at night, Michelle, and smell for smoke. Wake you up if they smell something.
Fucking coming out there with the friggin' heat.
Well, the funny thing is that actually the sense of smell is the first of the abilities that actually wakes you up. It's the first of the senses that is actually active is the sense of smell. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I watched something on the science of awe for babies, and they used light. They used vanilla under a baby's nose, and the baby's eyes reacted right away.
Yeah, because the sense of smell is the one that's got the highest priority, and it is a non-maskable interrupt.
I don't know about that. I've woken up because I heard a noise. I don't think I've ever woken up and said, "Did somebody just fart?"
Queen Underground says, and if you have children that cannot cancel the law in Canada anyway. What's this? I kind of missed that one here. Sanitariums are hell. Yeah, I know. Krill, my father, always pushed me into the outdoors, camping, and wilderness survival training growing up. And at the time, I hated it and just wanted to play Warcraft 2, but now I appreciate it. How many people today are even ready to deal with what's going on in Ukraine? If there was even a civil unrest.
Skynet, I don't know if Skynet's still here, but he said he wanted to talk about that. He mentioned something about WMDs. I don't know what that is.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, what is your opinion on that, Michelle?
First of all, I think James T. Kirk said it pretty good. Or actually, Spock said it pretty good to James T. Kirk, and he said, "We make weapons that do better, more damage. Cobalt bombs are the most powerful bombs." And of course, James T. Kirk said, "Let's just hope they don't become more powerful." It seems that mankind likes to find ways to seriously kill more people every few decades or even every year now. We've found more and more effective way to kill people.
I think what Skynet was getting at was that the United States accused, I think it was Iraq, of weapons of mass destruction before we went in there. They did not have any. It was a fake news story to get us in there.
Yeah.
Whereas over here in the Ukraine, there are fucking laboratories operated by the United States making all sorts of shit.
Right.
And that's what was being done by the Russian meeting they had with their security or whatever council they were doing today. So I think that's what Skynet was saying. He says we're hypocritical here in the United States, blaming a country doing that shit that they wasn't doing it, and we're doing it ourselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Both on and off American soil. Yeah. And I say that because don't forget what was going on with Fauci got funds from NIS, to do research into gainful effectiveness to make weapons out of viruses and bacteria. I know that gets close to the big P discussion, but I'm just going to say, if that's true, why are we depending on this guy to give us advice when he's just as much of a criminal for violating the National Institutes that helps?
Listen to these people, Michelle. They've been constantly wrong for 2 years about everything. Everything.
Yep.
Constantly.
Mhm.
And they're more
Well, it's not even that they're wrong. I think they're just feeding us a line of bullshit.
Yeah. I think so too. And now guess what? It's not even in the news anymore. That's yesterday's news. No one's talking about that anymore. Why? Well, because now it's Ukraine
It doesn't
news.
exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
God.
It's.
They cured it. They cured it, Michelle.
I mean, people are still dying from it. People are still getting sick from it, but no one's talking about it.
Not as much. Not as much. It's okay now. Michelle, listen. I was bullied and forced into getting these shots by the state of New York. If I didn't, I would lose my job. I wouldn't be allowed to enter any buildings. Blah blah. Now they're saying they're lifting all that. So what happened from 2 months ago till now?
I don't know. That's a good question.
The Ukraine thing.
I know that
That's the new focus.
on the state, like Connecticut level, the number of positive cases has dropped quite a bit.
What Noodles is basically trying to say, Michelle, it was utter bullshit.
Yeah.
What probably happened was what's the word I'm looking for? That herd immunity. That's what happened.
Right.
After 2 years, fucking herd immunity happened, regardless of whether people had the vaccine or not. Everybody got it somehow, and now it's old news. It's dying out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this Ukraine thing gets rolled out to keep people on edge, and draconian laws and regulations are still being implemented everywhere. But one fucking emergency after another, it seems like, for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but nothing but death.
Yeah. Death, destruction, chaos. Before this was all the the Antifa and the Black Lives Matters and all that crap. Yeah. I mean,
What happened to that?
Speaking of that, what happened to Antifa? I don't even see Antifa anymore. What happened to them?
No, you don't, because the new chaos thing was ushered in. Now, this is gone. Now it's the Ukraine and the Russian thing. This is how it goes, Michelle. They keep us preoccupied with bullshit.
And you wonder what's going on behind the scenes, and the news isn't telling you.
No, and we never will. We never will. That's why I do not trust the government. I do not trust any type of politician, because it's all bullshit.
Well, I think that's why our founding fathers basically put the Second Amendment in there, for the same reason that they don't trust the politicians either. Because they realize that the government, once it gets to be a certain size, becomes tyrannical.
You feel uncomfortable by saying the only reason why you're allowed to own a gun or a firearm or any kind of arms is to protect yourself from the government? And if so, doesn't that mean that you're just basically saying the only reason why you have a right, a Second Amendment right, is to kill people? It's not to hunt.
Well, yeah, you know what? That brings up a good question when we talk about moral and temporal law. Temporal law is the law written by man. Moral law is the law given to us by the creators of the human race. Okay, God or gods or our generators that create us in the lab somewhere or whatever. But anyway, that's law that goes beyond law. Okay, moral law. And moral law in the in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus says, "Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not have any other god but me, for I am a jealous God." But the "thou shalt not kill" is actually, regardless of religion, that is the most common one. That is deeply ingrained in every human mind. Is "thou shalt not kill."
If everybody acted like Jesus, no one would be killing each other. You wouldn't need guns. You wouldn't need anything. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But don't forget also who gets rich with all the gun ownership. It's the gun manufacturers. Smith & Wesson, Remington, Glock, maybe a few other guys.
But someone gets rich off everything. What about the voting? What about the voting machines? I mean, you vote, right? Someone's getting rich off that.
Oh yeah, I know. Even then, somebody gets a handout, right? Especially the new electronic voting systems. Yeah, ones that apparently seem to be not exactly immune from hacking. Yeah, we know what those, right? I've Dominion voting machines. Okay, so the question is if you don't really believe that in the case it was your right that you have the right to defense, which you do, then why is somebody out there allowed to make money off your protecting yourself, your right?
Well, I mean, you could make your own guns
because you're buying their tool to do the job.
But hey, guess what? It's a lot easier and probably safer to go to someone who's been doing it for forever, buying one.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, like I said, Michelle,
I would never buy a gun.
Hold on a second. Because you're buying their tool, just like when you buy a screwdriver, a pair of pliers from Stanley. I mean, sure, you could always go get a pair of pliers or a screwdriver from some other shop or makeshift your own, but you realize that it's easier to buy a pre-made wrench or pliers or screwdriver than it's for you to try to cobble up your own.
Maybe they know how to heat treat it. Maybe they know how to do stuff better. They've been there. That's their business. They've been doing it for a while.
Right.
I mean, listen. No, I mean, I would never take a gun that you have ever made and go shoot it. You're probably a terrible gun manufacturer. Right.
Well, like I said before, guns are useless without ammo. You're not going to get. You can have all the guns you want, but if you can't get the ammo to feed them, then they're just as good as clubs. And they're not going to be able to do anything with them.
Fine. Then I could probably beat you to death with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I could put a bayonet on the end of a rifle.
Right. Put a bayonet on the end of a rifle. If you have that, you don't have that. You can always stick
an AK. You can always put a bayonet on the end.
Right, or you could always stick or duct tape a hunting knife to your end of your rifle too. If I think of it, it probably would be just as effective as a bayonet. Maybe not as strong, but it would still act as a good pig sticker. You know. Something to think about. All right, let's take a look at where this score is on the votes right now. At this moment, baseball bat is at 15%, knife is at 15%, sword is at 18%, but the gun is still the highest at 53%.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense, Michelle. It honestly does. You don't have to be up close to a person. You have more range. And, I put an article in your chat that said where there was a person that walked into a police department and he inquired about getting his permit for a gun, and he was blind. And he had a seeing eye dog and everything with him. And the chief of police signed off on it and gave it to him because constitutionally he has to.
Right.
So it's the only thing that's holding you back from doing that is your fear from it.
On that, probably it costs her how much is the class? Probably $500, $300 or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, and here in Michigan, we don't need to do that. I mean, I don't know unless there's something that pops up on your background. I don't know. Maybe then you would have to do it. But
you only need a class for carrying a concealed weapon. You only need a buyer's permit if you want to buy a handgun. And you just need an ID if you want to buy a rifle.
I don't even think you're allowed to smoke marijuana.
And, I think a rifle might be a little bit better.
You're not allowed to have a medical marijuana card and a CCW at the same time. That's the
crazy,
thing.
Man.
You're not, yeah.
In Michigan?
Yes.
But you don't need a marijuana card anymore here.
A medical marijuana card, you can still get one, but what I'm saying is, like what they had before, is you're not allowed to have both at the same time, a CCW or a medical marijuana card. But
That's
now,
crazy
correct,
because
you don't need it anymore.
they don't. If you have a medical marijuana card, can you vote?
Yeah, of course.
How ridiculous is that?
I mean, you can still buy a gun as well. You just can't have a carrying a concealed weapons. You can't carry it around with you. I mean, you can still buy a gun, but you just can't have a CCW. I mean,
that may be more for like drug dealers. Maybe they were trying to stop that. Which is it's null and void right now because marijuana is legal here.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like saying like, well, they know you're going to have marijuana on you because it's legal, right? So that means if you're going to carry marijuana, anyone with a gun can just walk up to you and take it from you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. If you have a medical marijuana card. But if you're just carrying it to carry it, then yeah.
You stick up anyone who has a medical marijuana card.
I mean, yeah, technically.
Well, okay. Now, if you have a medical marijuana permit in the states that allow it but don't have recreational marijuana laws, like,
yeah,
okay, and
question.
You're saying in some cases like that they can prohibit you from having a gun depending on the state you live in?
No, it can prohibit you from having a carrying concealed weapon, which means you can carry it around with you. You can still purchase a gun, have it in your home, but you just can't carry it around with you. Have it in your car.
Maybe they're afraid that you're going to stick the gun in your mouth thinking it's a bong or something.
Right? That's only for the state, right?
Right.
Yeah, so my point is, I think...
I mean, as far as my state, I don't know about any other state. I just know that...
Yeah, because I think it's the same here. It's the same here. I don't think you can, whatever. But when I do my 4470, like if I have to fill out any paperwork, it specifically asks you if you use marijuana. And I think since it's federally banned, you cannot own a firearm legally, federally, if you have if you use marijuana, even if it's legal or not in your state.
Yeah, you cannot use marijuana in federal buildings either, or federal housing projects.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How come they don't ask you this if you vote? How come you don't need to fill out the questionnaire? You have to tell people. I have to tell them what kind of white I am, by the way, which is really bizarre. I don't know if any of you guys have done this, but the last time I bought a gun, they wanted to know what kind of white I was.
What kind of what?
What kind of
white you were, like your ethnicity?
Yeah, they wanted to know. So you could be Hispanic white, you can be I guess African white, you can be whatever. It was like this whole list.
Oh, that's weird.
One of them was Caucasian.
I'm just white, yeah. I'm cracker white.
You can be Wonder White, and
no white.
You could be dry corns white. You could be, but the minute you become wheat, you're screwed. I believe it.
Why would they think that's important? Is that more for the census, Noodles?
I have no clue, but I told the last time I made us think about this, the guy behind the counter, who held the FFL, was telling me, he goes, "Listen, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to give me anything. You can tell me to go fuck off, and I will definitely get on the phone and tell the federal government that you said fuck off, and you will not get passed. They will not allow me to sell it to you. They'll tell me no sale." And they want these things written on these papers. And when the FFL
federal checks,
sells a gun to you, they have to call NICS. NICS does a background check on you. They ask the FFL holder, who is this person? What's the social security number? What's this? What's that? And then they do the background check, and it comes back, and they say you're good to go.
Is that recent, Noodles? With this Caucasian?
Last time I bought a firearm was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been longer for me. I think the last one I bought was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, same.
could look it up. You could look up the what was it 4473 online. You can actually look what they ask. You have to fill it out. If you don't fill it out, they're not gonna.
Another fake me coming up now. Well, sorry, fake me. You're out of here. I don't deal with fake me's. Thank you.
Good interview with Melton John, though, Noodles, the other day. Was it yesterday or today?
Yeah. Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday, yeah, that was a good interview.
What do you think of him? Because I kind of want to like, not push him, but I kind of want him to come over here and talk to Michelle.
He's a smart guy, you know, and he's from New England, so that's how I used to talk to him on his own chats about shit, and we both saw this guy John Valby, who's a comedian. So, you know, this guy was famous back in the day, you know, 80s, 90s and shit, and he's still around. He's like 70-something years old. And so I just happened to put the name in the Google search, and it came up that he's playing in Tampa. I'm not sure where John is now, but I just put that note in there.
He said he's out west somewhere.
Yeah, so
I was in like Oregon or something last time.
But he knew who Valby was. He used to listen to this guy. Is like sick adult humor, but it's funny as hell. If you ever get a chance to see him,
Angela, I would agree with you on that, on what you said, because it's true. Also with me, because I'm also Italian Norwegian. Thank you very much. Italians do not like to be told what to do when they know they're within their rights. Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's.
I want to butter up.
Michelle, if they were rationing water and say Noodles was visiting you, would you share the bathtub with Noodles?
I don't think my bathtub would be big enough for both of us at the same time.
You guys could shower together, though.
It's not one of those double-person hot tubs.
You wash his back, Michelle, if you washed yours?
Somebody's going to get the dirty bath water.
Would you go first, or would you go after Noodles?
I don't know. Probably I'd go first. Female privilege, yeah.
Really, you give him a reach around, huh, Michelle?
And Michelle, you know what they called the first Italian person to take a bath? The ringleader.
What? The ringleader? Oh, okay, I get it.
Michelle, if Ed broke both of his arms,
Italian,
right?
so I can say it.
If Ed broke both of his arms and he needed you to wipe his ass, would you do it?
No. That's his responsibility. He can hire his own personal care attendant, but that's not me.
Couldn't you rig something up where he could just kind of rub his ass on it?
Yeah,
like Rusty.
Michelle, heartless.
Yeah, just get a stick with like a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, maybe you could just like rub up against something like a bear on a tree.
Well, what happens if they rationalize heating fuel and you can't even take a hot bath? Now you have water, but you have no hot water. Then what?
So I know a guy out in Tennessee.
Right? I'd probably let the tub get at the room temperature. That's probably what I would do.
Well, no. Check this out. My buddy out in Tennessee, right? He had runoff water collected in 50-gallon barrels that he used for his hot water. And how he did it was he took mulch and he buried the barrels underneath the mulch, and he always had constant 80 to 90 degree water.
Yeah, that works.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How did he clean it though?
The mulch, when it's decomposing, it produces heat.
Right, it's exothermic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Noodles, in Michigan, they used to have a law where we couldn't collect rainwater, which is kind of messed up.
Really?
I don't know if that law.
Why can't you collect rainwater? What's the logic behind that?
It used to be a law that we couldn't do it. You could get fined. Now, did they enforce it? You know, probably not, but it was a law. It came out.
I wonder if it was because of mosquitoes. Because we have that here, where if you have something like sitting outside that's collecting rainwater, they you can get fined for it because it produces mosquitoes.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Yeah, that could have been it. That could have been it because we were having a lot of mosquitoes that year.
Cisterns,
so that could have been it.
Gotta keep that meningitis controlled.
Well, I mean, the thing I'm trying to say is, guys, is that
swords are better than guns.
I don't think it should matter how you collect water. I think what it's more or less is to basically get you to buy into the municipal water system, I think, more than anything. And I think that makes sense, right? Your local water company is usually a government-owned entity, or at least mandated under a government monopoly. So if you have people collecting water in cisterns, then they're not going to be able to sell you water. Now, the sewage is usually, the sewer is part of the water package. Because they're kind of like love and marriage, you know? You got one that supports the other one.
Michelle, how does one collect water in their sister? Do they just have her stand outside with her mouth open, or?
No, cistern. C-I-S-T-E-R-N. Cistern.
Right. Sister. Correct. That's what I'm hearing.
That's the rain barrels. That's the rain barrel. So the point is that if you are not allowed to collect water in the cistern, the first thing is so that they can actually have you mandate you have to have a well, which requires permits and drilling, inspections, or you have to go through and connect into the water system in the city. And if you get connected into the city, especially in some cases, you don't have much of a choice, actually, because the water is toxic outside of the city system. But if you are in the city, you're probably going to be required to pay for sewage, too. Sewer access.
Yeah,
how do they get away with selling us water?
Sewer going out. Two separate bills.
How do they get away with selling us water that's like toxic? Like they're selling us water. Like the water in my house, I won't drink. I got a letter in the mail one time that there was lead in the water, but I could wash with it. I could bathe with it. They said don't drink it. So how could you sell me that?
Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's good. What?
I thought I heard Rosie O'Kelly at one point a few months ago saying something about collecting water, where she's out in California and that she was grandfathered in because she had it set up before they passed some law making it illegal to collect water.
Well, they probably did.
She has something rigged up there where she collects water and I think uses it to water for plants or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, there was a water shortage out west. I know that. And like the states out west, Colorado had laws like that. I didn't realize, Leo, that they had it in Michigan.
They did for a while. I don't know if they still have it, but they did have it for a while.
What about Connecticut, though? I wonder about Connecticut because, I mean, a lot of people have wells in the outskirts.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have it over. It
wouldn't surprise me if there is something like that. But if they do have it in Connecticut, it's probably not being enforced.
Yeah, there's no drought over here. If anything, we've got too much water. We've got more than enough water over here. So it's probably has to do with some type of pollution or something. I have no idea why would they even enforce it.
Sure. Why are you dumping more snow on Connecticut and Massachusetts tomorrow?
Yeah, we got more snow coming
today.
Tomorrow. Yep.
Well, we didn't get anything over here. We got like a dusting. It's all gone now.
We got hit with probably a good 6 inches.
That's what we're gonna get tomorrow.
It's coming our way.
Oh wow!
It's coming our way tomorrow, Michelle.
That's what Skynet was saying.
I have to drive to
and then after that, the weather's gonna warm up a lot, so it's gonna be warmer.
Michelle, I have to drive to Boston, Massachusetts tomorrow for my granddaughter's birthday, and I'm gonna be driving back in the middle of this shit. And if anything happens to me, I'm gonna hold you responsible.
Michelle, can you divert it? Can you divert the storm, Michelle? Like maybe push it northward, get it out of here for Stan and Skynet and all them.
Well, I looked at where it's going to affect. It's going to affect Litchfield County. It doesn't say anything about the other counties in the state of Connecticut.
No, sir.
I didn't take a look at the Boston National Weather Service I got 6 text messages. Who the hell is this? Oh, okay.
You gotta be safe when you're in your car there, Stan. Safe driving in the car. Going through Massachusetts.
Remove noodles from your panel now. What's this? Oh, okay. Well, he's right now. So-called Bot hasn't been here yet, so
Hotbot?
I'm not gonna worry about that the second.
The robot that gives out weed? Hotbot?
Well, at least he's a little more polite than Yuck Ranch.
Yeah, right.
Who?
Wait.
Well, there's probably someone on the other panel.
Who? I mean,
Oh,
Botter?
remember that was something in the 1980s? Remember the poison control stickers that came up with the Mr. Yuck stickers? Does anyone remember that? Yeah.
No.
That's what I think when I think of Yam Ranch. I think of Mr. Yuck. Sorry. The fact of eating yam ranch dressing sounds absolutely revolting. I hate yam ranch.
I was born in 83, Michelle.
I hate yams anyway.
He's a bitch that lives in his mother's basement. Don't pay him no mind.
So what's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam?
I don't know, honestly. I think they're the same family.
It is the same family.
I just don't get why they're different named. It's it's the same thing.
One's bigger, I believe. One's a bigger.
Yam's probably smaller.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Potato,
Makes
tomato.
sense.
I think Connecticut's more common eating sweet potatoes and yams, but I don't think they're that much different.
Uh-oh. So, did you eat dinner yet?
Yes, I did. I had leftovers from from 2 days ago that were in the refrigerator.
What's that? Chicken parmesan?
Yeah. Well, raviolis were left, but
oh,
that's
ravioli.
what I had.
Gotcha.
But right now, tonight's having
Ravioli.
more of the ham and vegetables for himself.
Okay. I'd probably have the ravioli instead. Sounds better to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It was a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I still got a spare tire on me, and I don't know if I'm going to ever get that off.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to have my doctor carve me open like you would carve a turkey. Just slice me open, doctor, and scoop the fat out and dump it into your...
Michelle, ask Noodles if it's the end of times, it's better to be fat than skinny. So, he's a survivalist.
Michelle, listen. I'm telling you right now.
Well, we're both chunky, so I think I can answer that. I think you got... Think of the fat as an extra gas tank. Or a jerry can. You're going to have extra fuel on you. You could probably live a little longer without having to go eat. But you still have to keep in mind that in 48 hours, your body is going to start doing the chaotic breakdown of your cells, your proteins, your muscles, your fat, as part of the prevention from starvation. So your body will start to consume itself.
Yeah, but I think it takes a long time for that to happen. Like, I mean, months without eating.
Actually, according to Brightside, it actually starts in about no less than a week.
Yeah, but it's not going to kill you.
It's like ketosis or something.
Ketosis,
yeah. Yeah.
That's when your body starts eating itself.
Yeah, but
that's also when it starts consuming the fat that's in the gut first.
Okay, wait a minute, Michelle. Noodles is trying to say something. Go ahead, Noodles.
I'm just saying. I think your body starts shutting down within a month. Your organs. I'm sorry. Your organs start shutting down within a month. Your body can eat itself. Your body can burn. I mean, that's fine. But once your organs start shutting down, that's when you got to worry about.
Yeah, it's pretty much when you're going to go. Bye bye.
Yeah, but I think that takes months. I don't think that takes days.
Oh, look how long Terry Shiva lived. I mean, and she was
remember the Irish hunger strikers in the 70s, Michelle? Bobby Sands, remember those guys?
I don't really, but go on. What about them?
Well, they were imprisoned by the British. They were Irish nationalists, and they went on a hunger strike. There was like 13 or 14 of them, and they all died like from 39 days. I think the one that lived the longest lived 60 days.
Okay.
So that's about the time frame, a month. To 2 months for death.
Doesn't your body go into starvation mode after like 24 hours or something of not eating enough?
Yeah, all they had was water.
Yeah, it definitely goes.
But I'm just saying, like in general, like I mean, starvation mode is different than what you guys were talking the K word or C or K word.
Well, I think what would probably be happening realistically wouldn't quite be more the same thing as a hunger strike. I think it'd be more like a fast. You're talking about if food's hard to get, you're still going to be ravenously hungry. You're still going to want to eat something.
That's why you can never rule out having to eat Rusty, Michelle.
I'm going to eat my neighbor's dog, Michelle. I have no attachment to her. No attachment whatsoever to my neighbor's dog.
They did a study on that.
All night. I'll be glad to snap its neck and put it on the barbecue.
Right. Rusty would feed you for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That's a big cat.
I mean, you can slice them up into some teriyaki and sun dry them.
I don't know. I think I would eat Ed before I ate Rusty because Ed's kind of pickled.
It seems like his meat would be tough and sour.
I don't think.
No, well, Rusty's an older cat. I think he would be a little tough too. But I have more love for Rusty.
That might be good. He'd be like a piece of veal. He's just been sitting around in captivity. His muscles are nice and soft. Like a piece of veal.
That alcohol makes him, all squishy.
Yeah, he's like beer battered fucking fish.
There you go.
Beer battered, yeah.
Well, I know it is that.
Loose muscles.
Michelle, does Ed have a lot of beer cans laying around?
I think Chris's husband took them.
Oh, okay. The reason I asked is because you can make improvised weapons with beer cans.
You can? How so?
The large BBs.
Oh yeah, sure. You can fill them up with concretes and launch them with
in there.
You can fill them up with concrete, and you can basically fire them from a ballista.
You just fill them up with pennies, Michelle, and then just run them across your door.
See, I don't have access to that many pennies to fill up about 30 cans.
No, just so you can hear them rattle. You don't have to fill them up all the way. Or like, Michelle, if there's a war or something goes down, you should probably just find a whistle, Michelle. Like a really strong whistle. If you get in trouble, just blow it. And then hopefully the lady in apartment 6 will come and throw some bleach.
Well, one of the things that was said in Robert A. Heinlein's Moon is a Hearst Mistress was the fact is that they didn't have any weapons on the moon, and they said, how are we going to defend ourselves from the Earth? Well, they said, throw rocks at them. And you may think, what? Well, it turns out that, once you get the rock up to escape velocity, hits the Earth's gravity, it's going to be maybe almost not exactly a dead on the spot a target lander, but you can still cause a lot of damage with moon rocks.
Michelle, do you know any butchers in your neighborhood?
No, I don't.
Well, you probably should go to Stop and Shop and say hello to the butcher there because he may be a friend of yours in times of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get in good rapport with him.
He'd be the ones to carve up the carcasses and give you a rump roast or whatever.
Yeah. It's good thinking. Stan actually got a buddy who's a butcher.
You got
a
network.
Yeah, how you doing? Like, hey, John, I haven't talked to you in a while. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Got a network.
That's a good idea.
Can we have a workout within a stream? I don't really know.
Like a walking in place, like you could do the 15
I got a workout record. For those of you who don't know,
so how many push-ups do you do?
Yes, an actual final workout record. It comes with a book.
Richard Simmons.
With the actual exercises that you do with the workout record.
How many push-ups can you do, Michelle?
None, because I got a bum knee, and even before the bum knee, I couldn't even do one.
You use your arms to do those, though. You don't use your
arms, Michelle. You don't use your knees.
Yeah, unless you're doing the girly push-ups.
Stop making excuses, Michelle.
Well, at least I want
counter push-ups, Michelle. You don't have to even get down on the floor. You can just do the counter.
6 months from now, you're going to have 6 months of excuses or 6 months of progress. The choice is yours.
I walked to my hair appointment today, so that's one excuse I didn't do. I walked to my hair appointment.
Well, Michelle, you're all for the sword, right? You need that upper body strength to wield that sword, so maybe you should start working that upper body up.
Right. Well, we need to set up a practice area for that.
No, you can do it without the sword. You just start working up your upper body.
Right.
Do one push-up, Michelle. Start with 1. Work your way up to 2. Before you know it, you're doing 100.
Maybe. Are you doing?
Hard to know. Negatory.
Wow. Anyway, we had a pretty good show today. It's 9:08 already. I think it's almost time to get ready to wrap it up because I'm sure that maybe Skynet's going to want to play World of Warcraft today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Oh, let me explain that. What's going to be the story for Saturday's show? Because if we're doing a Friday show, I don't know if we need to do a Saturday show too because the Saturday show, Wednesday show is kind of, it doesn't work. For some reason, Saturday show is losing viewers. Friday's doing good. The Saturday is kind of, nobody wants it. So what are we going to do with Wednesday's night show?
Well, I mean, Michelle, it's completely up to you. I think it all depends on if you have something to talk about or not. You know, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a set schedule. You know, you could just pop up and do a night show once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, if you got nothing
Michelle,
to talk about, then maybe not do a show.
Yeah.
Michelle, if you don't feel like doing a show, just put a message on your thing on the YouTube there, that category. Say no show today. You know, I'm not feeling well or whatever.
Maybe I should put a message like Aspen Gold does on his Twitch stream. Get in here right now. I wonder how many people would actually appreciate that kind of a message. Does anybody here know who Aspen Gold is? Does anybody know who Aspen Gold is?
I only watch popular Twitch streamers, Michelle. I'm sorry.
He's one of the popular Twitch streamers, right? You know what his streams are called? Get in here right now. That's the stream title.
I call mine Scratch and Sniff. You know. Sometimes it works.
Michelle, do you watch any of the ASMR channels on Twitch?
Oh, I can't stand
Not really. Right now, I got a little bit of a headache. I hope I'm not getting a flu or something. Yuck.
I got that right now.
Well, drink your fluids, get your rest, Michelle.
Yeah. I took an aspirin today.
They're the worst, Dan. Like the
and aspirin helped a little bit, but not by hell of a lot.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, they got the kiddie pools loaded up in the bedroom and shit, and they're swimming around in it.
It's fucking terrible, man. No, you want to look up something relaxing, Stan?
Yeah.
2 suggestions for you: A, macaroni noodles being stirred. B, slime in a what are those things called? Slime in a paper shredder. Slime in a shredder. Very relaxing.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Let me just take a look at something here and see.
But yeah, some of those ASMR channels are absolutely just terrible. Like farthest thing from relaxing.
Let me pull up the news. I want to see real quick what Fox News is just saying. I'm just gonna pull real quick up here, see what it says here.
And then the mic clickers, I hate. Ugh, terrible. Just how is your mic even alive right now? How many do you go through?
Biden says the U.S. won't fight in war against Russia and Ukraine, but signals potential global clash. What does that mean?
What the fuck does that mean? Global clash.
Dems Senator has a fiery message for Biden nominee over stalled pipelines. Rocket attacks intensify on coastal city of Ukraine as Russians stalk the capital. White House claims Russia hacked our elections during briefing on Ukraine war. Social media giant fires back at critics over controversial Russia-phobia policy. Russia threatens to strand U.S. astronaut in space as world chokes off trade. Well, then we have to get with Elon Musk to go up there and get his Falcon capsules and get them. 2 major liberal media outlets pump up defense for Biden as gas prices explode. Former CNN executive Gaullist gleefully texted him Andrew Cuomo dealt Trump an L during interview. What the hell does that mean? An L. General Kellogg, Putin's invasive headed for invasion of Kiev. That's obvious. Mickey mad. Disney accused by activist shareholders of complicity in China genocide. Detainee sent packing. Former U.S. resident who worked for Al-Qaeda to be released from Guantanamo. Tucker, the questions about the biolabs.
I feel like I'm on a hotline waiting to hit a button to pick a topic to listen to.
Putin's point, reaching a point where he's truly going to be at war, a criminal, Kellogg says. President claims sky high prices largely the fault of another man as Dems spend. Elementary school student tells Biden remote schooling made it hard to learn about stuff. Well, that's true. Ex-Navy intel officer warns how Russia could quickly ignite a much larger war. Like I said, Putin wants to make a new USSR. A Nusser. Yeah, I think he's up to something.
You think?
It's fishy here.
Back in the USSR. I think that's exactly what he's up to.
We're going to become a bunch of communists again, Michelle.
Michelle, did you ever see the Ramones when they played up in Torrington at the Palace?
Yeah.
You did?
You did? You were at that concert?
With a link at McDonald's?
No. Michelle, Stans asked you when the Romans played in. I'm sorry. Who was the band? The Ramones. When the Ramones played, did you see them when they played in Torrington?
No, I didn't.
Came to Torrington.
Oh, you missed a good show, Michelle.
Michelle, have you ever been to a concert before? Like a band concert? Have you ever been to a concert?
I've been to concerts, small concerts, but not recently.
Who was the band?
Kitty Wells.
Oh, okay. The country singer?
Yeah. She passed away a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Did you put
My kid won tickets to a baseball game. Is that worth taking her to?
I guess it just depends on where the tickets are and if she or whoever's going to take her is a fan of the baseball. I mean, it's a good experience to have.
That's what I mean. Would it be a good experience?
Do you know where the seats are?
Dad take her, Well,
what's that stand in an area?
Might be a good idea if her dad took her.
Yeah, I was going to maybe suggest that. Depending upon where the seats were. They're like nosebleeds or something. I'd probably like.
Chimber said that's what on my toe, and then of course doing the best I can do, but I cannot feel my fingertips today. Flash play from the beer cans.
Oh, is it the Tigers?
I've never heard of the team.
Oh, so it's not even like a Tigers game.
I don't even know. Hold on, let me get the tickets.
Or is it a minor league team, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Minor league teams are all good seats. You could get good seats sitting anywhere in a minor league.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the Growlers.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
Oh, the Kalamazoo Growlers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are they?
So that's a minor league team, obviously.
It might be an independent league. Might be one of these independent leagues.
Does your daughter like
on the
baseball
level, just not below major league? It'd be a good
she doesn't like anything. That's the thing, though. But I mean,
does she want to go?
No, but I think I should force her.
Hey, kid, if you ever want to send a donation, go ahead. It's up to you.
Yeah, Tiger Kitty, I'm still waiting on mine. And Noodles as well. Leo, come on with it.
I've donated to you before.
No, I'm talking about Tiger Kitty to all of us. Stan streams too. We're all streamers. Send us donations.
Oh, I don't need donations.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding anyway. You gotta start shaming people, Michelle, for not donating. That's how you get your money, Michelle. You gotta start. I think we should just start shaming people around here, Michelle, for not donating.
You gotta work on your
in a way, Paul, I did donate because guess what?
What's that?
I'm paying Skynet's couple months of his World of
Michelle,
Warcraft.
Michelle, I'm saying we should shame your viewers for not donating, not you. I'm saying shame the viewers, Michelle, so that way the donations come in. Just start shaming people.
Yeah, tell them Rusty's hungry. There's no food.
Maybe have a shame bot instead of Nightbot who just announces, all the people who haven't donated to stream and just ridicule them.
Feed Rusty telethon.
Yeah.
You know what we need? You know what we need? We need a way. Okay, we can find out when someone subscribes to your stream, but how come YouTube doesn't give us a way to say who unsubscribes from your stream? Or whenever they do clearing accounts out. I think they should let us know that too.
Michelle, do you feed Rusty wet food? Are you able to find wet food for Rusty, Michelle?
Can't. I feed him dry food.
You don't feed him wet? All right.
I bought out the little bit that we had at Walmart. I felt bad, but
it seems like there's been a shortage from what people have been telling me. I mean, I don't buy it. But, yeah.
There has been. I picked up a case of Fancy Feast.
Yeah.
30 cans maybe. It was like $20.
Yeah.
That's what I had to get my cat last time. You
should have just went with tuna, Stan.
Yeah.
Chicken. Rusty likes chicken, not tuna. But you know what the thing is? Where was that Fancy Feast made, Stan? Was it made in the United States or was it made overseas?
That's a good point.
I didn't look. I just threw it in the cart and carried on.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was made. But,
well, look at the cans. It should say somewhere.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I don't think he's near the cans right now, Michelle.
Okay.
I don't think he has one on him.
No, I don't have.
Michelle, if things get rough, then Fancy Feast may not be looking so bad for just the animals. You know what I mean? I mean, it is like grade D meat. I mean, you could eat it.
Yeah, add a little Tabasco sauce or some.
You ever try cat food, Michelle? You ever eat cat food before?
Pepper.
I hear Ed.
I think someone's yelling for me. What?
Yeah, Edna is.
Oh, God.
Ed, I want you to check the mail, Michelle.
Scratch my back.
You mean what? You want someone to get involved with your business with you?
Yeah, Stan.
I think I'll call Stan after the show for that. You can talk to him after the show.
Sorry, Stan. Sorry.
Stan, Ed wants to talk to you after the show, so I'll give you a call after the show.
Tell him like I told him. I told him to fuck off.
So I'll get invested with Ed's money, or excuse me, his business, but I'm going to need some seed money up front from him, Michelle. So I know the third just passed. He hasn't blown through all his money yet. I'm going to need at least $200 from Ed, and we can get his business going, Michelle.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just need a little seed money, okay? You tell him that.
Anyway, what I'll do is I'll call Stan for Ed after the show, so because I'm sure it wants to talk to Stan in private anyway. So it's a lot better than having him yell at me to yell at you. So
yeah, there you go. Let him yell at Stan. Let him yell at the headless baby Jesus, Michelle. Tell him to start a business with headless baby Jesus.
All right, guys. We had a good show tonight. We had a good topic. We covered some material. As far as the Saturday night show, here's what I personally think. I think more than likely, I'm not sure about a Saturday night show. I really don't know.
Michelle, let's have a topic like tonight, Michelle. Last Saturday night show, you played a video game that people weren't really wanting to play. You kind of got to hype up the shows, Michelle.
Right, I didn't even play my video game tonight because, like I told you, I got a headache for some reason.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, if you don't want to do a show,
I got a headache.
Michelle, don't want to do one, Michelle. Don't do one.
90% of success, Michelle, is showing up.
Exactly.
I'll have Stan call Stan after the show.
I worked over 60 hours this week.
They can't even hear you.
There's a crisis going on with North Korea.
I know.
Okay.
Shut up, Ed.
North Korea's up to something too, he said.
What's going down in North Korea, Michelle? They pointing the nukes? What's going on?
Let me get Rusty.
Tell Ed there's a draft and they're calling in all idiots.
Michelle, did you fill the pantry like I told you to?
Let's get Rusty on camera. He said,
Dan, you're asking the impossible.
See, Rusty's hungry. He says,
Time for this dry food, Michelle. Give me something wet.
Michelle, yeah, I want some more food. I want a rotisserie chicken, Michelle.
Oh, that's what I feed my cats.
Give me some of your ravioli, something.
Though I haven't picked them up any lately.
Yeah, don't give cats pasta. It'll make them fat. They'll also spike their A1Cs too.
Like, Rusty's beyond fat, Michelle. He's like an obese cat.
Rotisserie chicken, Michelle.
Boom. Some salmon.
He's giving everybody his complimentary headbutt. Boom.
Rusty just gave me AIDS. Feline AIDS.
What?
Do you have anything to say to the audience?
Michelle, do you ever clip Rusty's nails by chance? How does that work out, Michelle? You ever clip Rusty's nails? Or do they just grow long and fall off?
Do I ever cut Rusty's nails? No, actually I don't.
No, how does that work?
And they sound like little castanets when he's walking around on the floor. Especially his rear claws.
Oh, Michelle, if their nails get too long, it hurts them.
It would hurt them, but they're not growing inward. They're not hooking inside him, so they're...
No, if you hear them clicking on the floor, it actually hurts them. If he's not taking care of it himself, you need to take care of it.
Oh, he sharpens his claws.
Because it could cause him problems with walking.
Oh, I don't feel comfortable trying to cut his claws. I would have to ask if that.
No, but you could have, like if Krista's, you could take him to the vet one day, and it's not that expensive just to get his nails cut. $10-15.
Yeah.
You could get one of those clippers at Walmart for maybe $5 or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think she could do it.
No,
I don't think she could see.
Michelle could hold them, and Krista or somebody can clip the nails.
Yeah, does Krista have animals or no?
She has a cat now.
Okay, does she clip the cat's nails? Maybe she can help.
The cat's still a youngling. It's still a kitten, so.
Oh, it's a baby.
Youngling.
Yeah, she originally was going to get a dog. She had a dog for a while, but the dog was too much work, so she decided to get a cat instead. Because the dog was a little bit too much work to handle for her.
Mm.
Yeah. Some dogs.
Michelle, are you going to get the rotisserie chicken before the storm tomorrow, or what?
You going to get a chicken for Rusty, Michelle, at Cumbies? You going to straighten up that pantry?
Yeah, we did straighten up the pantry. We got that organized.
Can we see a tour?
Yes, let's see, please.
Let's show us, Michelle.
And tomorrow's the studio.
I'm going to have to buy lottery tickets again tomorrow. My daughter picked some more numbers, so wish me luck.
All right, good luck.
Maybe she'll double down and get like 200.
She gave the dog back to whoever gave her the dog. She decided that she didn't want the dog because the dog was too much work.
Yeah, some dogs can be, Michelle. Cats are pretty self-efficient.
Yeah.
Feed them some water. Feed them some food. Keep them watered. That's all you gotta do. Pick up their hairballs. Shoot them a glance every now and then.
I give Rusty fresh water every morning. I give him one small handful of cat food every day.
Michelle, one small handful? He doesn't ask for more?
You should just keep his bowl full, Michelle, and let him graze.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's a big boy, so he's not starving.
No.
I check his dish first to see how much food is in there. If the food dish is getting empty, I put in one handful.
3 pounds of dry cat food in there.
Oh, okay.
What does?
Plenty of food.
Like a big cereal bowl she has there filled with.
It's a big cereal bowl because he's have 2 cats.
Yeah, so
actually, it's a relish dish. Actually, Stan, it's a relish dish.
Okay, it's a relish.
Michelle, do you freshen his water up just in the morning, or are you like fresh, maybe in the afternoon?
Yeah, I put a handful in the morning when I get up along with the fresh water.
Yeah. What about the litter box, Michelle? How often do you clean that?
About every 2 days on average, and then if I don't forget, which they don't.
She says she scoops it, right? But it's not clumping litter, which I think is really gross, Michelle.
Yeah, why is that? Why doesn't it clump litter? It just goes on top? Like you just scoop the top?
I don't know how she does it, but
Michelle.
Yeah.
We have to walk away from this one as a cat lover, Michelle.
I think it's good that Rusty goes outside and pees.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's going out now because there's a girl cat downstairs he likes. So.
But he does drop deuces in that box. I mean, that thing is loaded up.
I imagine it's like overflowing.
He uses the box. He also goes outside too.
Yeah.
And there's a girl cat downstairs he likes. So.
Poor Rusty. Hold on. Yeah, Michelle, does he slip her the barb? Does he give her the good old barbarino?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he gonna have some more kids? Is he gonna have another Dusty?
I don't
have some
know.
more kittens?
I was gonna get a second cat, but I decided to hold off on that.
No, Michelle, is Rusty gonna have more kittens with the cat
he's
downstairs?
Fixed.
Oh, it's fixed. Okay.
Yeah, he can't have kittens anymore. The thing
Rusty
is that, like I said, I'm not going to give myself another cat until after the situation settles down with what's going on in the current events in the world. It's too spicy to consider taking another cat in here.
From Russia?
Yeah.
Are you getting one from the Ukraine, Michelle? Is that why you're waiting? You're gonna order a cat with your elf ears next time? You're gonna wait for things to settle down a bit? It's probably a smart move.
Oh, speaking of elf ears, I don't know what the story with the Ukraine's going to be with the ears. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to consider ordering from Eridani.
Yeah, and Michelle, it's safe to say your Ukraine supplier probably isn't around anymore.
You know what, Michelle? I heard that Dimitri's shop got hit and all the molds were destroyed by a missile when they did the attack on the what's that thing called? The pediatric hospital.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, okay, now
I heard the molds were destroyed.
Assuming his shop wasn't trashed, I know it's a hell of an answer, but there's a lot of shops in Ukraine. Maybe if he's smart, he should have those molds exported out of the country to a safe place.
I heard he was gonna stick them up his wife, Michelle, and have them smuggled out to Poland.
I'm sorry, I don't think the wooden masters would fit up his wife's bum. Thank you very much.
Well, I wasn't talking about her bum, Michelle. Talking about her coin purse, her kuka, la cucaracha.
Well, the point is that either way, he's gonna. If he can get his molds out of his shop and he can export them to another country.
Ask him if he'll put them in his wife's pizda.
Maybe he can send them to you, Michelle.
Michelle,
what?
Ask him if he'll put the molds in his wife's pizda before she goes to Poland.
Is that the Polish word, pizda?
It's Ukrainian for purse.
Yeah, that's the Polish word.
Oh.
Do you know what dome bougie is, Stan?
Yeah, give me a kiss.
Yep.
Okay.
My parents used to say that all the time. Dome bougie.
Yeah. Yeah, Michelle.
What?
Ask Dimitri to have him put the molds in his wife's pizda.
I don't know what that means exactly.
It means purse. It means purse, Michelle. It just means purse.
Oh, her purse. I don't know if the molds will fit in her purse. I don't know how big her handbag is. See, when the bombing started, him and his wife and the youngest son immediately evacuated to Western Ukraine. His older son is staying with his grandmother right now.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get out of there as fast as they could because of what's going on.
Yeah.
So right now, his youngest son, which has cerebral palsy, he's taking the time to have his son go through rehab at a rehabilitation center for children with cerebral palsy at the same time.
It's a sad situation, Michelle. It is.
Michelle, would you take Dimitri and his son in as refugees?
And his wife, right? I think he's married.
And his wife is in your apartment. Would you take them in as refugees?
He pointed out that other countries are taking women and children by train out, but the problem is there's a long list of people that want to get out of Ukraine with families.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything about the guys, though. So I think he probably would be forced to stay behind.
Well, I think they could fit in apartment 10. You know, Jimmy cut some deal with the government.
Yeah.
There's 2 boys, and I don't think there's any daughters, but I'm not sure.
So wouldn't that be amazing if Dimitri and his family were across the hall from you?
Maybe what it could come down to is maybe Dimitri could get emergency evacuation to the United States. But the problem is his son's got cerebral palsy. I don't know how bad his case is, but if he's got cerebral palsy, he may or may not be able to climb 3 flights of stairs. That I don't know if he can do that.
Yeah.
Well, if I can do it, I'm sure
yeah.
the cerebral palsy person can, Michelle.
All right, so
talk to Jimmy about it tomorrow, Michelle.
Michelle, how's Ed's gout doing?
His gout's fine. It's not bothering him.
That's good.
As long as he keeps taking the cherry pills, he's okay.
Cherry pills.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I have a friend who has her son actually got gout. He's a youngin'. I mean, he's in his 20s, and that's what he does too. He does the cherry pills.
Cherry tablet.
Leo, does the kid drink?
No.
No, really.
A lot of meat.
Too much red meat.
No.
Seafood?
No.
Shellfood?
But what she has changed the diet, but what it is, I think it's a hereditary because my dad had it and my brother has it. But he's autistic and he's a video gamer and he sits around a lot. So that's the only correlation that she can think that could be affecting him.
I would do it.
Michelle, you're gonna get the
Use
gout.
it or lose it. You sit around in your seat all day. Yeah, your body is going to get stiff.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a homebody, you know, like I said, he's special needs, so he's at home and he likes his video games. So
well, you know, there are video games where you can actually exercise and playing them too.
Yeah, I'm sure
Those aren't the fun ones though, Michelle.
Get outside, walk in the cemetery, talk to the spirits, ask them to leave your apartment, go back to the cemetery.
Yeah. So, Michelle, we gotta get you. You gotta get your apartment exorcist.
Oh, actually, I have talked to Mother God about the spirit. She said, Michelle, most of these people here are prior tenants from the 100+ years this building's been around, and most of them are benevolent. But there's a few Malvins, but they're not really particularly focusing on you. They're just present. They already existed here.
Why do they keep draining Stan's phone, Michelle? Every time you
because they use energy. That's why. They need
but why
feed.
Stan's energy? Why don't your phone?
Okay, wait. Here's a question for Stan. Obviously, there's something in her apartment. Do you feel threatened at all? Maybe it's a good spirit.
No, I don't feel threatened, but the energy drain is definitely there.
And so maybe it's a good spirit. Maybe it is Lumi.
I brought the battery pack, and it was fully charged, and the thing drained both my phone and the battery pack together. Which, I mean, I've walked through haunted cemeteries, and that never happened.
I'm surprised nothing manifested.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I have such a high electric bill.
Hour sort of drain.
Maybe the spirits are draining the power grid too.
Okay, well, there you go, Michelle. Of all reasons to get an exorcist in there or get your house exorcised or whatever, to save on electricity.
Get baby Jesus out of there.
Well, get back to the electric bill real quick because we're running late. Is the fact is there's a good chance, guys, your electric bill could go up 200% in a couple of months. Just watch.
Michelle, do you still have that frankincense candle I got you, the little candle?
I still have the frankincense. I don't have a candle of it, though.
Why don't you burn some of that? Maybe that'll scare them out.
Yeah. Well, it didn't scare them out when I did the convocation, but it sure scared me with all those candles burning.
Well, I mean, what you do is you have a little ceremony and you speak directly to them. You tell them that they're dead and that they need to leave. They may not know that they're dead, and they're just wandering around.
Well, I can say something like nicely. Say, dear spirits, your service is appreciated. However, I no longer need you in your employ. Please go home to your friends and family that miss you.
Right. You don't need to stay in the Bardo in Michelle's apartment.
Scram.
Years.
I mean, I don't know why some of them insisted of staying here. I mean, but some of them feel that they have to stay here to protect me.
To protect you from what?
From harm. They know.
What harm, though?
Michelle, you live in Winstead, Connecticut.
The only harm there is the floor collapsing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe they're holding it up.
Pain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not in any harm's way, Michelle. What would they be protecting you from?
Oh, by the way, there is an interesting spell on the city of Winstead that since 1955. I wanted to point this out. I pointed it out a couple times on my channel. The reason why we don't have major hurricane damage, tornado damage, or even snowstorm damage is there's a spell that protects Winstead from harm.
Oh.
I'm talking about catastrophic harm. So, some would say, well, why don't you get rid of the spell? Why? That's like Winston's first line of defense. After 1955, a couple witches got put together that spell. I don't think I'm going to want to take something away that actually protects the city.
Michelle, are those witches still alive?
I'm sure some of them might be. That would be in their, if they were in the 20s at the time. Oh my God, 55. That'd be 90 years old.
I mean, if they are alive, it'd be excellent content for you to interview them, and they could tell the story of this spell they cast. Nobody else has that on YouTube, Michelle.
I don't think anyone actually told anybody about who they are. I don't have an idea who they are, but I do know there was. I do pick up through the ether that there was 3 witches that after the 1955 flood damage that got together, and this is one thing from Mother God, that they decided they were going to put a spell to protect Winston from, again, in fact, a large portion of Litchfield County as well. Winston and Litchfield particularly were protected. And then a few others did similar things for the Waterbury area.
Sure, why don't you make a separate video of this story? Even if you just tell the story and maybe put a couple pictures of the flood damage from 1955. That's a great story to tell.
Oh yeah, I can find some videos on it that would not be violating copyright because it was an actual news footage.
Yeah, put together like a 5-minute video.
The water was pouring out of buildings, and there are testimony stories as well from the 55 flood.
Right, you don't have to drone on, endlessly. Just 5 or 10 minutes, tell the story, and you'll get maybe 1,000, 2,000 views with that. No time flat.
55 flood.
Oh yeah,
never heard of it, Michelle. Yeah, make a video.
Yeah, that was a big deal here, Paul.
I definitely think if I was putting it on, I'm thinking of probably putting more of it as a video because I think
sounds wild. What caused it?
Cities were flooded.
That way, people can watch it from beginning to end, and they can comment in the comment section.
Michelle, what caused the flood? Michelle, was there not like a?
It was 2 hurricanes back to back that came through.
Oh, and that's why the spell was put up.
So if we got soaked from Hurricane 1, the Mad River was already swollen up. We didn't have the coffer dam like we do now. Mm-hmm. And then the second system came in, and they flooded and caused the water level to explode in the Mad River and the Still Rivers. And that's what caused the flooding.
And I'm sure it wiped out a lot of houses.
Today, now we have the Mad River Dam, but the problem is it's a coffer dam. It's a dirt dam. And we already know a lot of infrastructure is declining. Is the Mad River Dam being maintained? That I don't know.
Michelle, you said that your own building was damaged in that.
Yes.
In that flood.
Yep.
Why don't you walk around the building and show the damage in your video?
It's not so much you can see on the outside because you got vinyl siding on it now, but you certainly can see it in the basement.
Well, then go in the basement.
Well, I'd have to get Jimmy's permission with the key for that.
So get the key from Jimmy.
I'm sure he'd let you, Michelle.
Tell me you want to go look for. Tell Jimmy you want to go look for some light bulbs. He'll let you down there.
I don't see.
He's always having to fix light bulbs.
That's true.
Think out of the box, Michelle. Put together a good video with that's interesting, and people will watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this, Michelle. I'd be interested in hearing about it a bit.
Oh, I think that definitely would probably be interesting for some people to hear about the flood.
Oh. That's why they put the spell on, is what you're saying, is because that catastrophe happened and the witches were trying to prevent.
Let's put it this way: it's held. Okay, for example, we have thought we were going to get hit really bad by Hurricane Sandy. Nada. We got something we were going to get bad by Hurricane Irene. Nada. We thought the same thing with Gloria. Nada. It's still holding. The spell is still there to this day. Protecting us from any severe, really severe weather. Sure, Nemo, we didn't quite get protected from, but that wasn't quite the same thing as the kind of damage that a hurricane does. But during Autumn Storm Alfred, we just got mostly power outage for about a week. But But even then, we still survived it. Winston people still survived during a power outage with no power for a week. So, I mean, that tells you something. You know,
Michelle, do you want to do a reading on the spell? See how long it's going to last?
I got the impression that there's a group of witches in a coven that keeps her refreshed. That's all I know. I don't know who they are, but they obviously felt it's their duty to keep the city safe, or the county safe. And
I've heard that they hang around Satan's Kingdom there in that state park.
I haven't been to Satan's Kingdom State Park. But
it's right down the road from you.
It's not exactly down the road.
2 miles?
I think Satan's
down
Kingdom is past Mirandino's.
Yeah. That's an odd name for a state park, though, don't you think, Michelle? Satan's Kingdom?
Well, that's the name of the town it's located in.
It's in New Hartford, isn't it?
Yep. It's Canton, actually. Very interesting, because there's one of the parts of Canton that has area code of 693 instead of 379. The same was true in Antolini's school. Their phone number started with 693. I went to Antolini from 4th to 6th grade, so very interesting.
Michelle, have you ever cast any spells?
Yeah, I have cast spells.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I cast spells for protection to help people, not to hurt them.
Oh, good spells, you mean?
Yeah.
But didn't you kill Soup Kitchen Pete?
Well, that was one where he said, prove it, and I proved it. That's, in a way...
Michelle, that's such bad juju, man.
Yeah.
Well, I never did one of those after that, so...
You still did it, though, Michelle.
I'm thinking Ed is like your bad juju.
I mean, maybe that spirit's reincarnated in Ed.
I don't know.
What was the guy's name? Soup Kitchen what?
Pete.
Soup Kitchen Pete might be to Ed what Lumi is to you, Michelle.
I don't think Ed and Soup Kitchen Pete know each other.
Well,
he may not know it's Soup Kitchen Pete, though.
He's just sitting there. Maybe he's the one draining all the batteries.
Could be. There was another one, too, didn't Michelle, wasn't there another guy?
No, that was the only one.
Oh, Pete was the only one.
All right, so let's get to the final score before I forget on the poll. Baseball bat is 16%. Knife is 13%. Sword is 18%. And gun is 53%. So that's the poll.
Yeah, that one's out.
Michelle, before you leave, why don't you check the comments? Maybe people ask some questions. I can't see from here.
I am.
Maybe,
I was looking. There hasn't really been anything. Yeah. I've been watching the chat.
All
right. More like, comments, but no really question.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's pretty good there. All right. Oh, yeah, someone says here from Twitch, says, did the spirit give Ed gout? No, he already had gout prior to even moving here, so, from the 90s. So.
We're going to get you that gun, Michelle. We're going to get you that gun.
How's Ed's situation with Jennifer Aniston, Michelle?
Oh.
Has Ed given her any
He
iTunes
agrees with
cards
me
yet?
more and more. He hears about it. He doesn't think he's got the real... He doesn't think he's got the real person. Because now she's acting like a real snot. And
oh, well, you see, yeah, they only try for so long, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody. I'm just going to leave the two panels open. I'm just going to walk away from the panels. But thank you, panels, for being on.
If you do that, Michelle, we won't be able to communicate with Noodles anyway.
I don't think Noodles is here anymore.
Well, you guys can always come on the public panel. Noodles is on the public panel. Oh, wait. You can't.
Fair enough. No. I thought you made a...
What? You guys can talk to each other on Discord. There's a Discord link still open.
Yeah.
Michelle, did you file your taxes yet?
Fax.
Noodles, to my knowledge, is still on my Discord.
Fair enough, Michelle. You have a great night.
So,
I don't think Noodles is on your Discord. You kicked him.
Michelle, did you file your taxes yet?
Well, I can put him back on if anybody wants him on my Discord.
Michelle, did you file your taxes yet?
No.
Okay, what are you waiting for?
I'm still wondering if I got all my all my 1099s. I think I do, but I'm not sure yet. But I still only got enough of them now. I'm waiting for the ones from the Social Security. You got those?
You're gonna claim,
okay.
You're gonna claim that on your taxes, Michelle?
Well, they're supposed to send it by February 1st, Michelle. It's already March 11th.
I thought they were doing April 15th.
No, that's when the taxes are due.
But all the forms are due to the people by February 1st. So if you're missing a form, you need to get on the phone and get it sent over to you. You know, you're sitting around waiting for the last minute, and then you're gonna go to some schmuck at the Walmart tax table, and he's gonna say, "I can't do anything here. You don't have all your shit together."
Yeah. Well, I got all my shit together. That's in a big fat pile sitting above my monitor.
Do you do your own taxes, Michelle?
I'm gonna have H&R Block do it this year.
Oh.
The schmuck over at the Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh, Jackson Hewitt. Bristol boy, I live across the street. I live down the road from H&R Block, so.
I used to do all my own taxes.
Yeah, I do my own.
It's pretty easy.
TurboTax. I just got a 20% off coupon in the mail, so I'm gonna apply that.
There you go. Nice.
The fact is, most of my 1099s are printed forms. They're not electronic ones, so. I'll just have to
I think most people's are. Just like copy the info.
Michelle, you gotta kind of organize your life a little bit where you do some of these things that you have to do on time. You know, don't wait for the last minute with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just take a day, take her 2 days or whatever, and you know, make an appointment and go and do it.
Yeah, especially if you're getting money back, Michelle. I don't know why you would wait.
Right.
You think you're getting money back?
No, probably not, because they're not actually withholding any taxes. But that's not going to be making...
Yeah, but do you guys have renter's credit and heat credit there or no?
I don't. That's the renter's rebate in the state of Connecticut. That's applications coming up soon, too, for that.
That sucks, man.
Are you going to apply for it this year, Michelle?
Yeah.
The renter rebate? You're going to apply
I'm going to try.
You got it before.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Be able to get it again.
All right, guys. For now, I'm gonna let everybody go. So. All
right, Michelle.
All right, so I'll talk to you guys later on the panel. Talk amongst yourselves, Stan. I'm gonna call you because Ed wants to ask you something.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna log off the panel. Everybody have a good night.
All right, you guys.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, so now let's see. Where's the Noodles people? Oh, he's already left. Okay. Yeah, he left, so no reason to keep that one open. All right, so got a good show this afternoon. We got morning, evening. We covered a lot of different things on the 2 shows. And thank you very much for watching. Stay out of trouble, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning, normal time. Yep. Okay, guys.